She early today. She ready.
I'm gonna put you in charge. Just for that, I'm gonna put you in charge for a minute so I can run to the restroom.
Hi, Dr. Pam. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Oh, hold on. Albert.
Don't do it.
I am. I've got to run to the restroom. You get to be in charge.
Oh my God.
Okay, when people are put in charge, did you just pass your exam?
No.
Okay, because I was about to say, normally that's when Dr. Pam will put people in charge.
Okay. You got to go to when people pop up, just let them in.
Okay.
You'll hear the beep of it all. There's
Oh
14 people. Okay. Hold on. I've made it all. I'll be right back. Okay. And by the way, Alberta is in charge and she's going to be running the session tonight. And she's going to be teaching all of you. I'll be right back.
In charge of what? Yeah, I'm confused.
You got this, girl.
Got what though? What am I doing?
Whatever it is she wants.
Oh my gosh.
She believes in you.
Girl, for what? I didn't do nothing.
You must have.
I just said she's on time.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna mute.
What is it? 5 minutes? Yeah.
Lord Jesus. I just said she was on time. That's all I said. What? Okay, I'm gonna add this person in. Add unmuted. As to Lord Jesus. Oh, admit all. I'm admitting everybody, including Jesus. That was wrong. I ain't gonna say nothing next time. Okay. I think I admit everybody in and everybody's muted. I cannot believe she did that. So how's everybody doing?
I'm good. Me and the family, we are out swimming and got out of the pool because I was like, all right, that's enough for today. I'm about to go. Hear this.
Are you still at the pool?
Yeah, it closes at 6. We did a road trip. It was like 2 hours away because I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. So it was like 2 hours away, and we came up here to swim. They had some really big slides and water pools, and it's nice. But I'm
You have the whole family with you.
Yeah, they are here, so they used to me leaving because I was like, I gotta go do this. They like, here we go.
Yeah, we gotta get Dr. Pam in. That's our date night.
Mm-hmm.
Every Saturday night, we have a date with Dr. Pam until we wake up.
See, I'm not currently on this session. I'm still on. I just started my private sessions with her about 2 weeks ago, and I'm still on human growth and development. But she said just attend these and then, just keep the video just when I get to that section. I'm like, I'm trying to understand it all.
Y'all know it's recorded, so if Alberta said anything bad about me, I'm gonna go back and so it's recorded. Okay. How's everybody doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Do I have any passers? I don't think I have anybody that called me today. I don't think so. I do have someone that's testing Monday.
Ooh.
Charmaine is testing Monday.
Monday.
She has been studying her butt off. I am so proud of her. So hopefully we'll see her, next Saturday. come back and share with us what it was like and how well you did. You're a passer. You're a passer.
Thank you.
The only reason
Thank
you
you,
wouldn't
thank you, thank
pass
you.
is if you let that anxiety kick your butt. Kicks your butt, I can't help
No.
you, okay? And if you change
Right.
answers, don't tell me, because I'll find you, I'll hunt you down and choke you. Do not change answers ever, 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 ever. We're talking
Yeah.
about family tonight, right?
Yes.
I see some new faces. Anybody's first time in a live session with me? You are so lucky. Oh my gosh, I almost stomp all over your toes. You have no idea how bad it's going to be. Honestly.
Bring it.
Say again.
I said ready for it. Let's go.
Okay. You can give it back. I can take it. Honestly, so research really shows that one of the things that happens is that we remember things that are associated with feelings much more often. You can all tell me exactly where you were when 9/11 happened, or anything tragic that happened, you can remember. When I call you out, whether it's individual or group, when I say something like, do you see your name in that question? You are not going to forget that question. Okay. And that's really the goal. Yes, I'm kind of poking fun at you and having fun. But yes, family is a domain for the CPCE. Do I ain't got no families in CPCE? Yes, it is a domain. Let me just finish what I'm doing. I'll come back to that. Okay. I got one good brain cell. Whew. And I took my Vyvanse later today, so I should be good today. Okay. So I'm a little ADD, so I should still be good. Let's see here. Lost my train of thought. Oh, so what I'm saying though, is really the way that we teach is very much research based. I just didn't pull it out of my bottom yesterday. I've been in the field of therapy, career, right? My career, my whole life for 32 years. I have been in mental health. I'm a social worker by trade. I'm an LCSW. I've never snatched a baby. Tried to give away mine when they were little. Shoot. I've never worked for DFACS or any of those things. I went straight into private practice. I'm a clinician at heart. I love diagnosing. I like the crazies. When I say that, sometimes I get feedback on YouTube that says I'm being insensitive, and I really understand. I do. I just like the way the mind thinks. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. If I could do over again, the one thing I would do is forensic social work or forensic counseling. I've got a couple of forensic social workers that is like so cool. I want to know why you killed somebody. Like, I think that's the coolest thing ever. I do. I am enthralled with the P. Diddy trial. I am. Now, mind you, I knew nothing about any of those people, okay? I could have been a juror prior to this. I'm a preacher's kid. I grew up, there's no secular music in my house. So when they're talking about Suge Knight, I'm calling my kids. Who's that? I'm Googling, like, who's that? Who did what? But really, I am so just interested in the trial. And as I watch the trial, what I say to you always is we're always going to try to take everything and put it into the real world. So I'm like trying to diagnose him, right? Did his mama leave him? Do you think he's got some, issues with object constancy? What theory is that? Object constancy.
Is that Margaret
Mailer? Margaret Mailer. She said that if I don't have the same caregiver for the first 3 years of life, then I really won't attach with anybody. Right. So I'm wondering now, because she's showing up all the time, but word on the street, because, I know the streets, is that as a younger mama, she was kind of out there. So I knew she was very strict on him growing up. I've watched every documentary. I am so into this trial. It's not even funny. But I know she was very strict on him, and he had difficulty moving in. His dad died when he was 3, but he thought his dad died in a car accident, and he didn't know that he was shot for selling drugs until he was about 13. So there's got to be a genetic piece there as well, because if your daddy was a thug and he died before you even remember him, Just telling you, there's some genetic pieces there, right? So I'm thinking about that. I also think about behaviorist. His behavior has been rewarded. If not, it would have stopped, right? Behavior becomes extinct. Skinner, behavior stops if I remove all of the reinforcement, right? Good or bad. If I remove it, behavior stops. If they stop paying me at my college job, do you think I'm showing up? Where's Dr. Pam? She's like the dinosaurs. She's extinct. So something, right? The behavior was reinforced, whether negative or positive. Remember, reinforcement is we like the behavior. We add something, that's a positive reinforcement, or take away something. Yes, operant conditioning, that's Skinner. So obviously it was reinforced. Any other theories that you can think about if you've been watching the trial or watching the news or anything at all?
Is he an only child? Because I never heard them talking about any type of siblings or anything like that.
He is an only child.
Oh.
So what theorists would talk about that?
Adler.
Adler, yeah. Exactly. Adler, we're talking about he's the first, he's an only child. So, you know, he can do whatever he wants to do. Any other theorists, guys? Pleasure principle. Yes. He is in the right of his life. He obviously has no super ego at all. Okay. So you're your devil, eat, sleep, procreate. Your super ego, your angel says, don't do that. Your ego, right, mediates these two things. Obviously, his Ian is just out of control. Okay, super ego is already gone. Give me something else.
I just want to know why he have all this baby oil. What was he doing with all that stuff?
I don't know what theory that comes from.
That's my only question. What is going on with all the baby oil?
And why do we own stock in baby oil? Like, what
the baby oil got me.
I don't know. Enmeshment. Oh, he and his mother, you think, did not have appropriate boundaries? We're talking about enmeshment today. What theorist is that?
Bowen?
Mm-mm. Not Bowen.
Mnuchin.
Yes. Mnuchin. And we'll talk about Mnuchin tonight because we're supposed to have appropriate boundaries. I did that. Objection. What do you mean with the baby oil? Christy, tell me more.
I was reading about sexualizing objects, and I thought that just popped into my head. I think it's called objectification theory. Maybe that's more towards actually sexualizing women, I guess. I'm not sure.
Okay, so subjectify is, well, okay, we can say there, but not with the baby oil.
Gotcha.
To objectify women would be to see them as objects and not as people. And I would definitely agree with that he saw them as things, playthings, not as people. But I was thinking about the baby oil, it could be regression. Going back to an earlier childhood stage, maybe.
But what's it called when they're literally sexualizing like actual objects and non-human?
That's called frauderism. No, that's fetishism. Fetishism.
There you go. That's right.
the word.
Okay, but I was still way off.
Yes. So fetishism is when I need anything besides shoes, rubber, whatever I need to enjoy. It's only a DSM diagnosis if it's a problem for my partner. If we both like rubber, it's not a DSM diagnosis. That's not a test question, just for fun. So honestly, that's not a diagnosis. Anything else? Again, so if you're new to us, do we see how people are kind of coming up with theories? When I say learn them, that's what I mean. That when you see this and you see things on TV with your clients, that your mind is racing with what theory this could be. Okay, that's how well we need to know them and not just memorizing them. And if your note card say verbatim what it says from the textbook, you don't know it. Okay, and there are 100 questions in chapters 3 and 4 of the Hellwig book. That's the one that we use until we release our book in September. And by the way, if you have not seen, we have partnered with Pocket Prep. I'm not going to change my response of what I say to you. I'll put our link in the chat box. We'll be writing questions for Pocket Prep early September, but I still say don't buy it more than 4 to 6 weeks out. And I say because it is, if you keep buying, if you keep doing it, you are still seeing the same questions over and over and over again. Our goal with them is to write questions that I think are closer to the test. And also to change them every so often, so you don't keep buying the same thing over and over again. But I will put our link. So again, I don't think you should have it for 6 months. I just think that's ridiculous because there's only so many questions. And I really, be honest with you, I don't like the mock tests. I don't like them at all. I think they're very much written by Rosenthal, and his test questions are not like book questions. But his book questions are not like test questions. Okay, so any of my repeat offenders want to talk about that?
Yeah, I seen your video about the Pocket Prep. I watched that. That was nice. I listened to you, and I think it's a great job. You guys are going to rewrite it because that is true.
I didn't say rewrite it. I didn't say rewrite it.
No, I mean, okay, not rewrite it, but do come up with test questions. Read how they do the test questions.
Yeah,
because you do think you passed the test. You know it if you see it over and over. But Rosenthal, the way he does things, it is redundant because you think you know what it is. Even when you practice it again, you're like, oh, I know what it is. But I would have passed it a long time ago if it was helpful because I know the answers right before I get to it. And even the videotape.
But that's because you've just memorized it. You don't know it. You don't know
it. And that's what I'm saying. I would have passed the test. Because even when I'm listening to the tape, I knew what he was going to say before he said it. But then when I go to take the test or a harder test, practice, I didn't know what to put because I didn't know the details.
Yeah,
I didn't know the
details.
details.
Don't understand it. Okay, so there are things that you're doing in the book, and I have got one brain cell. I am not going to lie to you. Okay, so if you give me a minute and before we end, I will put the Hellwig book in there, and I will put our link in there. Okay, the Hellwig book is the book we recommend until we release ours. We do like the Hellwig book lots. We like it very, very well. And I'm also going to say, watch our YouTubes. Don't watch stay away from the purple guy. The way, hold on. The way the test is written is not the way it's written now. And if your professor said to you at some point, that's the best book ever, it really, really was at one point. But the test changed in March of 2019. And those repeat test takers, you know that it's not written that way. Go ahead, Charmaine.
I was just going to chime in on the purple book. The purple book is not helpful at all for this exam. Like, not even a little bit. It's more confusing than anything. Dr. Pam, is it?
I will, you can say that after you pass your test, but yeah, I am.
And the orange one is even worse. I want you to know about the orange one. It's harder.
Why? I'm going to show you.
I didn't know you.
Okay. I'm going to show you. This is on my Facebook, our staff, our business Facebook page. If you are not on our Facebook page, please join it. And if you've answered the question already, don't answer it. Okay. This is a very typical test question. Am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Don't answer it. Okay. Our self-concept often changes in response to our experiences. Similarly, our preferences for and satisfaction with different types of careers also evolve over time. These ideas fit best with which career theorist? This is a very typical test question. There's not a name. What are you talking about? There's like, no, right? Dr. Pam made me study all these theorists, and there's not even a name in there. So I want you to answer the question, but when you in the chat box, but put just to me instead of to everyone, just to me. I'm cutting in and out. Am I cutting it out for everybody?
No.
No.
It's not me. I have excellent internet.
I think it's when you're like backing up and stuff.
When
you
I
get
back up.
excited and it,
Okay,
then I
hold
can't-
on.
So I didn't hear what you said about the type of question.
I put my phallic shaped pink microphone very close to the mouth.
That looked like a Freud situation. That looks.
Absolutely. That's a Freud question. They didn't have it in brown. I only had it in pink. Okay. So yes, I will keep my microphone very close to my mouth. Is that better? And yes, remember Freud said if you get fixated in the phallic stage, you big buildings, you make things shaped like the Washington Monument. That was his terms, not mine. Okay, so answer me in the question, but only to me, not to everyone. When you click down, it says just put to me. Can you do that instead of everyone in the meeting? You say just to Dr. Pam?
I don't know how to do that.
Maybe you can't.
Let me see.
When it says
Let me see.
message, you don't have that option. You might not.
No, you can click new chat box that's like blue with the little pin in it. Go to that and that'll allow you to start a new chat.
Okay,
That
there we
help?
go.
Okay.
And if you search by name, you can just put in Dr. Pam. It's under Pam or Dr. Pam. Maybe it says leader. I don't even see my name.
Says Dr. Pam.
Okay. Everybody see that? You see what she did? You got a new chat?
I don't. Is it you're talking about in the upper left? Where okay. Never
Yeah, you
mind.
see all the people at the top and it says main chat, new chat, more.
This is some different kind of Zoom. It's not what I'm used to.
I just made it up yesterday, Christy.
Okay.
So yeah, look. We do we own the Pearl platform. So we do our own old this many people. Okay, so let's just go back. Let's see here. That's okay. Just put in the just put in your answer in the chat box. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. So A is social cognitive theory, B is trait theory, C is type theory, D is developmental theory. There are 38 people in this group and I see 6 answers. Come on.
No, I can't even. Hold on, can't stand doing this.
Hey, Anae. Anaya, Anae, it's right today.
Yes, you said
Yes.
it right.
I thought so. How are you?
Good.
Do you have a new test date?
No, I do not because I finally got my accommodations.
I'm glad you got your accommodations. Very good. Okay. Everybody pretty much said B. Who does B belong to?
Holland.
Do you see anything in this question about any traits and factors?
No, it's
Do you
French.
see any Rhea sac in this question?
I thought it was super.
Who said that?
I did, Melissa.
Melissa, tell me what words. How do I know it's super?
Self-concept is a super word.
Where does it come from?
I thought it came from the trait and factor.
Trait factor.
No, trait and factor is Holland, and it cannot be trait and factor.
So then it's got to be the developmental theory.
It is, but which of Super's theories did it come from?
Oh, it came.
The growth stages.
Nope.
Is it the archway?
Is
the archway?
Archway. The archway.
Okay.
So that is a very, very typical question on both tests, the CPC as well as the NCE. That's an HMC, the 5-letter exam as well. Very, very typical question. This is Super's archway of determinants. Brianna, can you teach that to us?
Sure. So the left side of the archway is all about your internal influences. So like your interests and what your values are, and then the right side is your external influences for your career, like the society and the labor market, which it says right there. And according to Dr. Pam, it is very important to know that the left side is your internal and your right side is the external.
Okay.
And then the top is your self-concept.
As I grow as a person, right? Inside, my values, my needs, my interests, I develop. The economy develops, society. My mom and dad think that, let's say that I think I want to be a doctor, and I'm intelligent and I've got the grades to do it. And I've got the aptitude and the values. And society says doctor's a good job. And my mother and dad say, yes, we'll support you for 37 years. Hey, right? Then at the top of the archway is where I find my true self. And remember, men and super is history, right? Super is history. Men today still. So men find themselves in their career. That's who they are. So that's how you answer that question. So I see 2 people that got it right. He's a developmental theorist. There's one other developmental theorist that he actually stole from. Who was that?
Ginsburg.
Ginsburg and others,
Yeah,
right?
Soul World.
Fantasy, tentative, fantasy, tentative, realistic. And then super was also developmental, ages and stages. Super said you should be in your career by the time you're 24. Did that work for you guys? Good thing you're not all white men in the 60s, okay? So it's not for you. We're studying history. So for those who are new to the test and new to me or my repeat offenders, what I want you to really learn is you could have studied super all day long and still have missed this question. Because if all I know is like the rainbow and I know the ladder thing, but I don't really have a really good understanding of what super theories are, I would have missed the question. And then you would have been calling me up after you failed the test. Dr. Pam, I didn't get one super question on there. I don't know why you made me study super. I didn't see one question on there. None of you people, but other people. Correct? The people that have taken the test before, does this feel similar? The vagueness is what's so hard. So when you tutor with us, we're not just trying to memorize the answers. We're not just trying to memorize what it has, because we're not going to get it. That makes sense of really how we pass the test. We learn content. Taking test questions is not studying. Okay. Heather, I see you taking notes. That's a no-no in my group. I know, gosh, I'm the meanest teacher you'll ever see. Do you know why it's a no-no? Can somebody tell her what the expectations are?
Because you talked really fast.
You don't want to miss anything.
And brain dump.
And
We're going to recording. You're going to record it.
Recording, and you're going to watch this video 15 times.
Wait, there's 2 Heathers.
Hours a day. I'm sorry. It was Heather Fox that raised her hand.
Okay, I was like, I'm eating dinner.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
Oh no,
you can send every. No, we're okay. We can DoorDash 38 people. We're okay.
You pass it around.
But honestly, I ask you not to take notes because I want you to be in the moment. I want you to just enjoy time with me and the other people in the room and learn. And I speak really fast because I'm really trying to get everything in. I do want you to make sure that your closed caption is on. We've got to increase our vocabulary. There are lots of words on this test that are not words that are not related to the test. They are just everyday vocabulary. The test is written at a very high rate. You've got to have verbiage. You've got to have a large vocabulary to really pass this test. A lot of times you miss questions just because you don't know what it meant. Okay. Since we have other new people, I'll start off with all my other main rules. Let me stop sharing here. Be sure that you're on our Facebook page. When I find a really good question, usually my staff does them, but when I find a really good question, I try to post it because these are ones that really make you go, right? So anyway, your camera does have to be open and you have to be sitting in front of your camera. If you tell me they're going to the restroom and you're not back in your little seat in like 30 minutes, then you need to just watch it later because you got bigger problems. Okay. So honestly, I want you to enjoy the moment. And more than anything, I want you to make yourself a priority. For my women, it's harder usually, but for my men, most often, and I hate to sound sexist, but usually women, we are taking care of kids, we're taking care of husbands, we're taking care of children, and we don't put ourselves first. And if we don't put ourselves first, and for 90 days, you will not pass this test. You can half-a study for 3 years, but if you put yourself first for 90 days, you say no to people. You know what? Your kids can have cereal for dinner. They'll be okay. The dust bunnies can pile up. Nothing awful will happen. I swear. DFACS will not take your kids because it's dusty. I wish they would, right? It'd be great. Come get mine are all grown now. But honestly, the 2 hours you have with me tonight, I want you to cherish it, and not just with me, but all the other people in the room. It's really important that you focus on you. And that's a message that I want, especially my moms, to pass on to their kids. Because girls, and definitely the younger generation, you may have heard it, but growing up, I'll be 60 this year, I didn't hear that girls were priority. I was taught to be a good wife and a good mother. No one told me that my needs were important. And that's one thing that I have passed on to my children. So if I'm going to go study for 90 days, and for 90 days, you don't get all of mom when I'm making like $5,000 more starting the month after I pass my license, you'll be okay. Okay. So make yourself a priority, please. And we literally say 3 times a day. An hour in the morning, an hour at lunch, and an hour at night. And studying does not mean opening the book. That's how you got through grad school, but you did not have to hold any information for more than maybe a week. Most of you had not had a significant test since the GRE. And most of you sucked on that. Concurrent validity talks about when you went to grad school, you either had to have a high GPA or a high GRE. All y'all had high GPA. I know you did. You can just suck at test taking. So what I teach you is how to pass a standardized test. The GRE is what I took into grad school, the graduate record exam. So where'd you go to grad school?
I am at Christian University.
Which one?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Well, no, what school? I didn't hear it.
Mid-America Christian University, MACU.
Wow. So most schools require either one, the GRE or the GPA or high GPA.
What is that, an exam or what? What are you?
It's an exam. It's an exam. The SAT and the ACT, things that you got.
You mean to get into the school?
To get into grad school. Yes.
Get into grad, because I graduated with my bachelor's at Wichita State, and then they didn't have me do anything. I just went into.
You probably had a high GPA.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
maybe
either
4.0, I guess, would be that.
That's it. That's what I want to say. Most of you got into grad school because you had a high GPA. If you had to get in on a GRE, you would not be in my class. You would have learned already how to take a standardized test. So as we learn content, we're going to learn about taking standardized tests. That's the piece that you're missing. I do not make you a better therapist. That's not my job. To make you a better therapist, you need experience, time, and a really good supervisor. That's not my job. My job is to help you understand that having this license does not mean you're a good therapist. It means you'll make more money, but it does not mean you'll be a good therapist. You know people that have alphabet soup after their name. They've got every degree after their name, and they still don't know anything. They're just better test takers. So that's what we want to teach you, is how to take a standardized test. There are vague test questions, like the one I showed you. There's no name in there. So as we learn content, then we'll put it into questions to see what it looks like in a question. Okay. Remember, the test is not about you. No place anywhere do we care what happens in your agency. But in my agency, until I see your agency in the question, I don't care. When your agency makes my textbook and I start teaching it to my college students, then I will care. So we have to be very careful about bringing in our job to the test. We can bring our test into the job, right? All of you use some sort of Gestalt technique. Gestalt is the empty chair, getting rid of the unfinished business. You've had a client maybe write a letter to somebody and then set it on fire, or type that nasty email and not send it. That's a form of Gestalt. So when you're doing that, I want you to say to yourself, oh, wait, that's a form of Gestalt. Now, that wouldn't be the right answer for the test, right? But that is at least you understanding the concept of getting rid of the unfinished business. So as you learn theories, I am not teaching you brain surgery. I'm not teaching you anything that you have not already been exposed to. And we talk about studying 3 hours a day. We mean it, and no more than an hour, because it's research-based. You don't hold information for more than an hour. So when you sit down and you open that purple book or the green book or the red book or whatever book you're opening, and you sit there for 3 hours, I promise you, you cannot tell me anything the next day. Like, what'd you study? Oh, no. That's not what we want to do. We know that we really learn by repetition. We know that most people, whether they want to admit it or not, are auditory processors. You remember a Michael Jackson song from when you were like 6. Beat it, beat it. Everybody remembers the Thriller, right? Because you heard it so many times. And that's what we want to do, is to be in your head. I want everybody in your family to hate me. When you're making dinner and I'm on the big screen, by the way, the big screen puts like 50 pounds on me, just so you know. I'm not, yeah, okay. So when you're making dinner though, and your husband and your kids have to watch me, I want them to say, oh, Dr. Pam again. And you say, yes, until I pass, that's going to be Dr. Pam. Okay, that's really what I want you to do, is really focus over and over again. Now, the key is, if you're tutoring with us individually, your tutor is giving you a plan, right, of what videos to watch and how to go through. If you're not tutoring with us, you want to stay in the same section. So if you're watching a video on careers, and we probably have 12 videos on careers, and I know you'd rather watch the short ones, the long ones are so much better. When I'm talking like now, I throw in little things. I threw in concurrent validity, right? When you have 2 tests, those are things you don't get in the shorts. So they're really worth it. A lot of times what you might want to do is, especially if it's a group like this, and I've recorded it from the beginning, you might just want to skip the first 10 minutes, right? If I'm chit-chatting or talking about something, just skip it. Sometimes I'm talking about accommodations and it's not test related, but if you need accommodations, that's a great time to go and listen. A lot of the people, sometimes when you go on the channel, you will see what people have kind of like marked where what is something. I'll say at 0.67, this is where it is. A lot of people will do that. But whether it is 9, 10 years old, or whether I made it yesterday, all the theorists are still dead. Okay. Hey, Marsha Linehan is not quite dead yet. She's in her 80s, I think. But pretty much everybody else is dead. Savikas is probably still alive. He's the career guy that uses narrative therapy. Okay. So anyway, it doesn't really matter when we made the video. And it doesn't matter, but I know you like the shorts, but I promise you the longer ones you will get so much more content out of. You really, really will. And I'm definitely much more fun than the purple guy. Just gonna put that out there. Okay. I draw the line just enough where YouTube won't cut me off. So, okay. questions in general. Tonight, we're talking about families. We rotate our schedule every 90 days. Whether it's, I try to use different test questions because I know if you've been watching my videos, you'll see the same test questions. So I try to use different test questions, but the content is still the same. Okay. Families are families are families. Any question that's not related to family. Okay. Anybody else taking the test next weekish?
Was going to, but I've only been on and exposing myself to you for 47 minutes. I am pretty dang sure I am canceling that tomorrow. Because and I just found out that you have to wait 3 months before you can do it again. If
That's
you
not
don't
true. That's not true.
That's not true. Well, that's what it said on the when I
Not
signed
true.
up for
Not
it.
true, not true, not true. That used to be the case. Does anybody live in a state that still makes you wait 30 days?
I literally, when I went to pay for it, it said 90 days.
It's not true anymore.
Even in Georgia?
I don't know a state any longer that makes you wait 90 days. Now, if someone who lives in a state
I mean, they just
does,
did not update their stuff.
I hear that. I hear that. But I'm going to tell you, what state do you live in?
I'm in Oklahoma. We're like
Oklahoma?
behind everything. Yeah.
I
on 2 days ago, I paid for it and signed up and got the date. And that said in their documents 90 days. But
I hear that.
But they have a lot of stuff that's changing. So
the change happened in January of 2024. And that is when it was changed nationwide. So it took a little bit for states to get there, okay? But it changed nationwide. So we recommend if you take the test and you missed by like 10 points, get in an individual session with us. Let us really help you figure out what you're doing and get back on it and do it. Do not wait 90 days. Don't get frustrated and say, I'll show them, and come back a year later. That'll show them, won't it? No, the material is really fresh, even when you're upset. Just really, what we want you to do is we'll tell you, take 2 weeks off to grieve. You get to cry, you get to be upset. It's okay. It's really okay. You've studied, you put 90 days in and you didn't pass. You're like, Dr. Pam, I paid you all that money and I still didn't pass, blah, blah, blah. But what we're going to do is we're really going to go back and really work with you one-on-one to figure out what you missed, what you don't understand. That's what makes us so unique is we don't sell a CAN program. We really work with everybody that we can on an individual basis because you all learn differently. Some people, the assessment and the research questions, those are the easiest ones. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're the easiest ones. No matter what people tell you, you just memorize. You just memorize. Those are the easiest ones. I see people talking about accommodations. Hold on. And I want to just touch on that. I'm a huge fan of accommodations, not just for you. I tell you that for your children, for your clients. There's a form on the site, or your doctor can write a letter. You cannot have test anxiety. That is not a real thing. You have generalized anxiety. The DSM says it's 6 months, free-floating anxiety, right? You cannot sleep. You get nervous the day before the test. You forget your name, right? Things like that. That is generalized anxiety. It's made worse by the test. So what we want to do is we want to get our doctor, our friend, our therapist, our friend who's a therapist, to write a note that says you have generalized anxiety disorder. And you want to be very specific. You want to ask for 2 extra hours and a private room. Okay. Don't ask for extra time because they will decide what that looks like. You want a private room and 2 extra hours. One of our students, and when people pass, they come back. We don't record those. But one of our students came back and she had double time. She had 8 hours. Girl brought a picnic lunch with her. She had like sandwiches and bananas, and she'd take the break and she'd go and eat, come back and sit down and go eat again and come back and sit down. She had all day. And literally she took enough food to get her through the day. As long as it's in your accommodations, it's fine. Okay. Have my doctor write, she's old and she got a small bladder. That's it. I do have ADD, but I got, and when you get nervous, my gastrointelligence things down there start to bubble and I can't, I gotta go. That's a somatoform disorder, by the way. Somatoform disorders are anxiety or anything else that comes out as a physical symptom in your body. That's what that's called. I see that chat box growing up and I cannot do that. So if you want to ask me a question, feel free, but I'm gonna close that chat box because it's gonna make me crazy. Okay, you want to ask me a question?
Dr. Pam, when you was talking about taking the test, did you say after like 30 days after you take it?
Most states will allow you, once you get your test back, they'll allow you to go on within 24 hours back to the Pearson site and apply again.
And you agree with that, correct?
Do I agree with that?
Yeah. Like to go,
Yes.
like if you, so the reason
if
I
you're
asked you that.
close, if you miss by half, then no, baby, you need to start over. Okay.
No, the reason why I asked you that, because I want to know with the question that you asked us earlier, I want to know, give me an example of regression with the mean of regression or the regression of the means with that test question.
I didn't ask you that.
It's a regression of the means.
I said regression when it came to baby oil.
No. In the research and book, it has something about regression of the mean.
But I didn't say that. But I can tell you.
I want you to put it with the test. Like if you get 100, I want you to explain to me by using the test.
Okay. I'm gonna say to you that I would not use that on this test. I'm going to tell you that's a test term that we use, but I don't know that I would use that on this term, the test. So what she's talking about is the 68, 95, 99. That's the rule, right? So that's the bell curve, always, 68, 95, 99. Show you that.
I want you to give me an example of how,
hold on.
Thank you.
Okay, so the term that she's talking about is about the bell curve. Let me share my screen. I'm going to say this one more time, okay? If you are in my group and your camera is not on and it doesn't stay on, you are more than welcome to watch the video later. This is not a voyeuristic event. So I can see if your camera is on and you're in my session. I'm going to say it one more time and I'm going to kick you out of my session. And when you email my staff, they're going to say, Dr. Pam told you at least twice. Okay. If you're in my group, your camera has to be on. You get the recording. If you don't want to be in the group, go watch it later. But if your camera's not on, you're not paying attention to me. You're washing dishes, you're playing with your kids. So I'm going to say it one more time. Okay. This is what she's talking about. It's called regression to the mean. The bell curve says the majority of the people are going to be average. Okay. Just average. So if the test is, this is the mean. So in the middle, normal IQ is 100. So what I know is has a standard deviation of 15. Don't freak out. It's not on this week's test. It's just normal information. So what we know is if this is normal, then what we know is half, right, is in the middle. The mean is, this one is 100. The mean is 100. So what I know then is if I score 15 below or 15 above, I'm still in the normal range. Does that make sense? Regression to the mean says if I am way down here, negative, way down here or way up here, if I retake the test, I'll score closer to the middle. Make sense? Now, the problem with applying that to this test is I don't know what the mean is. The normal. I don't know what the normal is. What I know is there are 160 questions. I know that it's written as a power test that no one will get 160. The highest I've seen is about 148. Okay. So then when they get your score, it's that normed score, but I don't know where it is compared to everything else. So I can tell you what the score it should be. Sorry, doorbell. So I could tell you what your score should be. Normally what I say is if you score 100, you're going to pass. But there have been some times when that wasn't true. But normally that's what I say. Okay, so that's regression to the mean. We're not discussing that today, and that doesn't apply to the test. It's on the test, but it doesn't apply to you taking the test. That makes sense.
No, I was just trying to understand the definition of it, so I was trying to get a clear example.
That's regression to the mean. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You gave everybody in this group a heart attack when you asked the stats question. I swear to you, it's not hard though. It's not. Yes, Nicole.
Your volume keeps going high and low. I don't know if it's my laptop, but I think I need to.
Really? I must.
Yes, it is.
Hold on. Hold on.
I was just gonna change and go in my office.
It's probably I'm not right. There we go. Is that better?
A little bit.
Sometimes it takes time for like it to cut out and then come back.
Yeah, because I can hear like everybody real good but her.
Okay, give me 1 second, okay? I think it's better because my sound is going up. I was using that microphone and not this one.
Okay.
Okay, should be better. Give me 1 second though.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I apologize for that. And I tried to go out and come back in. I was using the wrong microphone. So this should be clear. Is that better?
Yeah, you sound better.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you for saying something. And I apologize, Christy, from before. It was coming from my camera and not from this one. So I do apologize. Okay, other questions? Can I get the families?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. So as I said before, we really do like the Hellwig book. But even in the Hellwig book, I will tell you, we only focus on the most important things. We don't really care about knowing the nitty gritty of every single therapist there is. We just don't. The goal is to know where the majority of the points are coming from and to understand the theorists. What I also want to tell you is when we talk about our theories, so if I'm talking about narrative family, you might see narrative family or narrative therapy in a individual, a couple, a family, and a group. I know that you've seen all over Facebook, there are 5,000 questions on group. They're not always measuring group. Many times they're measuring the therapy in group, not the stages. That makes sense? Sure, Dr. Pam. Great. Okay. So understand that there are stages in group like forming, storming, norming. Those are usually group questions. If it's asking me about what a narrative therapist does in group, that's not necessarily a group question. It's actually measuring the clinician. Do you know the theory? It doesn't matter because it still looks exactly the same. Okay, I'm going to start from the very beginning. Everything I use, I'll put in the chat box, and I'll also include a document. but I suggest when I put it in the chat box, you get it out. Okay. Let's see here. Gladys, you do not need a psych eval. A lot of doctors these days do not like to say that you have ADHD. It's totally BS, and they are going to charge you for an evaluation form. And I can't change how doctors operate, but you do not need one. But your doctor may say that. By the way, test question. If you have adult ADD or ADHD, when did you have to have the first symptoms?
6.
12.
Adolescent years.
12. You had to have it by 12. Okay. Most girls like me, we have the inattentive version. We didn't get in trouble in school. We weren't sitting, getting up and out of our seats. We were writing on the folder. Pam loves Bobby. Bobby and Pam kissing in a tree. KISSING, right? I'm looking out the window at the birds, all those things. My report card said, Pam is delightful, but she talks too much. Okay. So what it looks like is when I'm cleaning my house without my medicine, I start off in the bedroom and I'm making the bed. And then I realize there's a cup in the bedroom. Then we go down to the kitchen. Then we take the cup down to the kitchen. And then I realize, oh, wait, I need to wash these dishes. And then I go pick up a rag and I think, oh, let me do a load of laundry. And then I forgot what it's already came for. That's what it looks like in women. And I really didn't notice it so bad until I got my PhD. I just couldn't focus. I really thought I had like a brain tumor. I swear. I'm like, I read it and it not make sense. So that's really what I noticed. Okay. So this is Bronfenbrenner. He's actually in chapter 1 of the human development, but Christy, I have had people take it in 2 days, but like the one person had a back injury that he could not sit still. So he actually had 8 hours in 2 days. But remember, it's broken into 100 points. So we do the first 100, you can't go back and change them. So you do the 100, you get a 15-minute break. So they did let him do the first 100, and then he came back the next day to do the second 100, but he had a severe back injury. Okay, so what happened with Bronfenbrenner is he talks about how everything is related. So the chromosome, macro, meso, meso or MEZ, and micro. So what happens is everything affects everything else. And that's what the theory talks about. That if I can't pretend that a change in this system doesn't affect everything else. So systems theory in general says everything is related. Okay. So y'all remember when COVID first came and them Chinese people were nasty up there eating bats? Come on. We was looking over there. Them people, they nasty. It would never happen to us. We're Americans. We're ethnocentric, right? We think we're the best. We use an etic viewpoint, not emic. We need to have an emic view. We use an etic view to look at those people over there, and they was nasty. Oh, didn't that chromosome system mean that COVID came to us too? It did, right? But we really thought as Americans, us them people. So in the chromosome system, things like COVID, things like global warming, okay? That's in the chromosome system. So what happens is when things like that now come into America or affect our macro system, our big picture, COVID affected our economic system, didn't it? Y'all was at home, right? Say, right, pretending you was working. Y'all was at home. And our social norms, right? You couldn't have your friends over. You couldn't talk to people. It changed. Then our exosystem, that's considered our local system, your local government, and our mesosystem, MEZ and MES. Now, you're not really going to see a lot of questions about that. I just want you to understand the concept. So in your microsystem, it depends on you. My microsystem may be my church. They may be my family. It may be your mesosystem. Okay. So everybody's microsystem really depends on them. If my job, as I teach college, that's out here in my mesosystem. But my business, that's my microsystem. I live and eat and breathe my business. So does that make sense of kind of how that is Bronfenbrenner's theory? Everything affects everything else. So we start there. Okay. Now we talk about the Ecomap. Okay. So now we're going to take it down to another level. I have 4 screens, by the way. So when I'm not looking at you, I'm turning over to a different screen. I really try to use the same pictures all the time. So what I want it to be is seared in your head that you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah. So when I get to the test, I see this same picture in my head.
You say the name of the person, the theorist again? It started with a B. Big
It's
long.
Bronfenbrenner.
How long have you been studying for the test?
Who are you talking to?
For 4 months. I've been with Dr. Pam for 4 months.
No, Christy, she says she's going to take it soon. Are you changing your mind? Are you going to take it? Thank you, Charmaine.
If you're talking to me, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Is my mic working?
Yes.
No, I have not been. I mean, I just finished my degree program, like literally today. But I have not done anything. So just completely like started looking at what do I need to do to study. But I feel like I've been on an island because it's been an online program, so I don't have anybody that I've really been walking through this journey with to finish my degree, and my supervision was very lacking. So
back to me. Egocentric.
Sorry, I was trying to answer the question. Too much.
Hard to. Piaget's stage of sensory motor pre-operational. I don't see anybody else in the room but me, right? Ego, it's all about me.
I apologize. I was just waiting till you did it. I'm sorry.
So, okay, keep going. I'm gonna mute you forever. That's one that's called blocking, right? In the group section. When the therapist blocks it, it's a good idea. When the client does, it's not. So this is my Ecomap. It's a map of my ecological system. And I purposely picked up one of a family because we're talking family, okay? So what we know is, like any other gram we're going to see, the straighter the lines, the better the relationship. So if we see that between the straight line, it's a good relationship. The squiggly line is not such a great relationship. We see that Dad, Adam is the square, Louise is the circle, and she's the mom. Michelle is the circle, and Greg is the square. Okay, so those are the son and daughters, the kids. You'll see always in every family that we see, mom and dad are in charge. Just that simple. Mom and dad are always supposed to be in charge. So we see that Adam has, there's arrows on both ends going with his recreational buddies, going to him and going back to them. So do you see that this is his macro system? And this gives to his family, which again, this is going to be his micro system because we're doing the whole family. So that same thing we saw with Bronfenbrenner, right? So this is the macro system. It's giving to this system. He's also giving back to that system. There's arrows on both ends. Okay. It's in the chat box. You can right click it, or I'm sorry, whatever you have, and save it on your desktop so you can see it closer. I also see that he is a work shift foreman. He likes his job, right? He gives to the job and the job gives to him. Okay. Sherry, how does Adam and the church get along?
I'm trying to see because it's really small on my laptop.
Can you save it on your so right click it and save it on your desk so you can see it bigger?
Yes. Let me pull it up on my
I can make it bigger.
Hold on, I'm trying to find what I've.
That's okay. I'll just make it bigger.
Well, clicking on the picture works.
Okay. Yes, that's a lot bigger. That's better.
Okay.
So you said now, I'm sorry, repeat it again.
I said the church and Adam, what kind of relationship do they have?
The church and Adam looks like it's it looks positive.
Where do you see?
Hold on. I'm trying to find Adam. Okay, find Adam, and the church is over here.
What kind of
well, now it looks a little stressful.
Okay. So what do you think's going on? Why is Adam stressed out by the church?
I don't know.
Give me an idea.
Maybe it's maybe he hasn't been going and they want him to come more. I don't.
You know why he ain't been going? He been hunting and fishing on Sunday, playing poker. He ain't got time for church. They're talking about it. You know, we got them husbands rather be out there fishing than coming up here serving the Lord. Okay, got it?
Got it. I see. I got it. Thank you.
Trying to exaggerate so you just get the picture, okay?
Got it.
You know, it could be the rabbi. I don't know.
Okay? I thought you was having an affair.
Oh, the church and who's having an affair? Who's having an affair? Okay,
I don't know where that came from.
Okay, I'm gonna get that one. Okay, if he was having an affair with somebody up in the church, that'd be a straight line. He'd be going to church, wouldn't he? They would get together after. Okay, so anyway, look at Louise. She's the wife. Warren, what is the relationship like between the church and Louise?
Looks like a solid relationship.
On both ends?
Louise and the church?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is the arrow going both ways?
Oh, well, no, I guess it's not.
It is not. So so Louise is sitting up there taking, she's sucking up the air out of church.
Not giving it back.
No, exactly. Not one dime in the plate. Didn't sing in the choir, hasn't done nothing, just sitting up there taking up pew space. Okay, so we see it's not going right, it's just going one way. I'm always very interested. Do you see that Adam gives to college sports and he also gets from college sports? Now his daughter Michelle is in college sports, but she's not given anything, she's just taking from college sports? Heather Fox, what do you think that's about? There are no wrong guesses, Heather. You're muted.
Okay, maybe like she just has enjoyment in it and she's just doing it for herself and not like, I don't know. I'm not a big sports person.
Do you think, me either. Do you think she likes it though? Does she show up for practice?
Probably not, maybe.
Right, the arrow's not going there. She's not giving
right.
anything. But Dad is into college sports.
So maybe she's just doing it for him. To
Maybe so. Maybe so. Or maybe Dad's got a fetish for young girls in little volleyball shorts.
Oh no.
I don't know, right? But honestly, right? So that's strange. So it's whatever. It's, and maybe you're right. She's doing it for Dad, but she definitely is not getting anything out of it, right? She's not giving it to it. And then we also see Greg, right? Greg's a student. Like sometimes school, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Okay, so this is my Ecomap. I took my Bronfenbrenner, my ecological system. I broke it down into a map. It is not a genogram. We'll talk about a genogram separately, okay? This is not a genogram. This is a Ecomap, a map of your ecology system. Now we're going to take it down even further. Straight up my computer. Is that one though? Here we go. Okay. So now what I have is considered the structure of a family. Okay. So the way that families are supposed to work is they get input from the environment. So if we saw back to the system here, right? Dad was the work foreman that was coming into the system. The church was coming into the system. The recreational buddies, the college sports, all of those things were input into the family system. Okay. So the input from the outside system goes as energy, goes into the system. It supports the family. And then the family is able to output to the next system, right? So Dad has a good job. He's able to support the family. He comes in, they're able to go on vacation. They're doing all these wonderful things because the system, right? Bronfenbrenner, everything is related, right? Every system affects every other system. Should Dad decide that alcohol is just too much fun, he's going to give it up. He's going to keep drinking. He's going to keep drinking. He's going to keep drinking. Now Dad's an alcoholic. Okay. What's going to happen to the system? Anybody work with families of alcoholics? Anybody grow up in a family of an alcoholic?
I'm an addiction counselor.
Disrupted.
Gabrielle said it will die. Gabrielle, tell me more.
The system won't be able to function because there will be no input from the environment.
Do you know what that's
called? I actually just watched one of your videos.
Do you know what that's called?
Homeostasis.
No,
yeah.
Not yet. Yeah. It's called entropy. ENTROPHY. Entropy is when that family dies. You will not see that word in a lot of my textbooks. I've seen it on the test a couple of times, but it's entropy and negative entropy. So think of atrophy, right? If I lose the blood flow in my legs, right? My legs atrophy and they won't move. So think about that. So if dad continues to drink, right? Then what's going to happen? The church is going to come over for a couple of months, right? Maybe because, but they ain't going to be there for long because mama didn't put nothing in the plate. His fishing buddies, if he's not working and he's got no money and he's drunk all the time, are they going to hang out with him? So what's going to happen is the system is going to die. Okay. So entropy and negative entropy are the terms that I want you to get. Now, let's stay here for a minute. So this is where we saw the split between structural and strategic family therapy. So terms that you'll see that sometimes sound alike in both. So in the parental system, you see the father and the mother are separate subsystems. And then they're in a parental subsystem and they're at the top. Mom and dad are in charge. At the bottom are the children, the son and the daughter. They're each separate systems. And together they are the sibling subsystem. Okay. Janet, I have to see both your hands. You can't take notes. I know. I'm so mean because you're going to miss something. And I swear you get this video for the rest of your life. You can watch this video 37 times even after you pass the exam. It is all yours. Okay, so stay in the moment. And what I'm going to tell you is
open it back.
You're going to, please mute yourself. You're going to find that the way that you got through school before of taking notes is not the way that you pass this test. This is 6 years worth of school in one test. And the ways that we thought before would help us won't. Is that fair to say? My repeat test takers, is that fair to say? Okay, so what I want you to do eventually is after you've listened to my video 17 times, I want sticky notes, but I want brief sticky notes with like minutia. And when you see it, I want you to know off the top of your head, enmeshment, disengaged. I want you to know the terms. I do not want you to take notes from the book because if you memorize those notes, you have no idea what you're talking about. And if the test doesn't say it the exact way it says it, you have no clue. Okay. And also, again, make sure that your closed caption is on so you can see my words. Okay. Remind me, I'll send you the transcripts of this one. Okay. Okay.
Dr. Pam.
Uh-huh.
I did live with my dad. He was an alcoholic. For 5 years, he lived with us. And my parents divorced after that. The constant fighting, the drinking, the having no money, the affairs. Yeah, so I did.
Like. That's exactly what it's like. That's the entropy. The family really just dies. Okay, so, and I'm sorry about that. I really am. So what I know now, again, is split into two schools, structural and strategic. Okay, so we're going to talk about those. Structural is Mnuchin. Strategic is Jay Haley. Structure talks about the importance of boundaries, guidelines, rules. And then strategic is where we're going to see those terms like the double bind, first and second order changes. Again, the Helwig book doesn't cover it all. So I will cover it, not always just from his textbook, though. So let me pull up my textbook. And again, I will give you a copy, but not to the end because I know what happens is you're reading through the book instead of listening to me. I know. I've been teaching college for 1,000 years. That's out. it is in chapter 3 of this book. And as I said before, chapter 3 and 4 is where you're going to find all 100 questions, literally 100 questions from the test. And remember, if there's 160, this is where the majority are coming from. So if you, again, I will give you a copy of this book. Okay, so culture. Okay, so chapter 3 starts, am I sharing my screen? Okay, chapter 3 starts the counseling and helping relations, and that's where we're going. And so we are still in that same chapter, and it goes into family at the end of that chapter. So one of the things that we have to change is the way that we think when it comes to working with families. So while many of you do this, it's unethical, by the way, you see the children separately. The mama drops off little Bobby and the mama says, oh, please just fix little Bobby. And you see little Bobby separately. And then if your agency's really lucky, mom's got 4 kids and all 4 kids got a different therapist in your office. Yes, or you get to see all 4 kids separately. Unethical. Okay. The code of ethics says the client, the family is your client. The whole family. The whole family's the problem, not the kid, not the parent. The whole family is the problem. The code of ethics says if I'm working in an agency and I'm seeing the family and I realize that little Bobby has a real behavior problem and maybe I need to have somebody else see little Bobby, I'm supposed to give little Bobby 3 referrals, 1 to my agency and the other to 2 others outside of my agency. Now, if I owned a business, I would not do that. But that's what the code of ethics says. Just so you know, for the test, that's what the code of ethics says. You only get 1 client. We don't believe in an IP. That's the identified patient. That's the one who's acting out. We do not believe in that. Okay. So for the test, the whole problem is the family. We talk about linear and circular causality. The families would like you to believe that everything would be fine if little Bob would just behave. Bobby's the problem. My husband started drinking, and now we're getting divorced, and life is over all because of Bobby. Linear causality. True? Nah, it's circular causality. We don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. So the whole family is the patient. The whole family needs to be treated. Circular causality suggests there are forces moving in many directions at the same time, so the influence results impact each other in complex array of outcomes. The whole family is the problem. You will see circular questioning. Circular questioning you'll see both in family and in group. Circular questioning means I ask every member the exact same question. Okay. Locus of pathology. What does that mean? Let's see here. Yahara, what does that mean? Locus of pathology? You can phone a friend if you want to ask somebody to help you out.
Yeah, because I'm not like familiar with that.
Is that where you're looking at the holistic of the part of a person internally and externally?
Locus just means the location. The pathology is the crazy. The DSM is the listing of the psychopathology. If you take blood, if your doctor takes blood, he sends it out to the pathologist to get the report. He's trying to find out what the problem is. So pathology is the sickness. The DSM is the list of psycho, right? Pathologies, crazy of the mind, sickness of the mind. So locus of pathology means the center. The location of the pathology is the whole family. Those are words that are not necessarily clinical words. That's language you should know. Okay, so when you're studying and you don't know this, Google it and put in plus counseling, literally the plus sign, okay? Because you want to understand what it means for us in this arena. Because seeing a question like that, if you don't know what that means, how can you answer the question? And it literally just means the center of the problem, okay? So some things that we know is that the focus of family counselor is on the family again, rather than the individual. The family is the whole unit. Family therapy in general is shorter than individual therapy. This is called the family life cycle. You'll see this on the test. The family life cycle is normal life in upper middle class white America. Remember, when you're taking this test, you really have to wear your upper middle class white male hat. We study the old theorist, right? There were no divorces. Okay, there was no single mamas. There was no 3 different daddies. That didn't happen. So remember that when you're taking the test, it really is about what life, used to be like.
Dr. Pam?
Yes.
Did you say that 100 test questions are going to come out of chapter 3 alone, or the entire
3 and 4?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That is helpful.
Does anybody have their scores with them? You can see it on your scores. There's 47 and 48 in counseling skills and in something your theorists. Your test scores with you?
I have mine from the last time. So
on the bottom one, it breaks it down into the 6 areas. I think one says 47 and one says 48. Those really big categories. It may be the top one. I don't know.
So the counseling and helping relationship, for me, it had 53 questions.
Okay.
And then for human growth and development, it was 16. And then I think, yeah.
Look
so
at
those
counseling skills. There's another big one. Counseling skills, maybe?
Yes, mine is.
Yes, group counseling and group work for me was the next big one, and it had 33 questions.
Okay, so I don't want that category. I want the one that has the broken down. It doesn't have groups. It goes down into the other category.
You talking about on the counseling work behavior areas?
Yes,
or the K-CAP?
Yeah, the one that breaks it into 6, not 8.
Okay,
right?
So 6. Yes, so the
counseling skills and interventions.
Read them all.
Yeah, it was 48 questions. 48
questions.
Okay. Okay. So read all the categories and the possibilities.
Professional practice and ethics is 19.
Okay.
Intake assessment and diagnosis is 19 also. Areas of clinical focus is 47. Treatment planning is 14. Counseling skills and intervention is 48. And core counseling.
Hold on. So in clinical focus and the core skills, there's almost 100 points there. That's what I'm talking about. So that's chapters 3 and 4 of the Hellwig book, where all of those points come from. That makes sense, whether it's in a group setting, whether it's in any other kind of setting. That's where I'm seeing all of those points.
Counseling skills and clinical focus. Correct?
Correct. We teach to the majority of the test. So when you teach with us, we're going to tell you that in the helping relations, you're only going to get about 15 or 16 questions. In diversity, there's usually about 12. In assessment, there's more than 30. There's in research, there's 3 to 5. So we teach to the majority of the questions. That's also available in the handbook. If you go to the website and look at the handbook, it's available there as well. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for sharing this.
Yes. Thank you.
Remember on my CPCE, There's 17 questions in each area. Okay, so CPC is different, but on my NCE, am I sharing that screen with the, okay. So again, so we see 29 and 30% of the questions. That's where they come from. That's where you have to know those areas. So when we talk about narrative therapy, and I use the word scripts, if I use the word the accept question, you have to know those theories. It's that simple. Okay. Under those questions of counseling skills and intervention, you're also going to find my career people, right? Those are the theories that you'll find under there as well. Code of ethics are really only about 19. If I would write the test, that's where all the points would come from. You need to be ethical. You need to be so ethical. Okay. Treatment planning is, so the way the treatment plan works is when a client comes in, right? You do, someone else does the intake. You do the assessment. In the assessment, you may use assessment tools, right? Then you're going to come up with the diagnosis, and you're going to write the treatment plan with your client based on your clinical theoretical orientation. So the treatment planning is going to say it's got to be measurable, SMART goals, right? Specifically measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. But it's based on the theory. Makes sense of why we spend so much time there? Categories is going to be in the second one, the counseling skills and interventions. Now, a group question could be under ethics too. You could get a question about a client who, wants to leave group, and can he leave group? Of course he can, right? So that might be a code of ethics question. Make sense? Okay. Thank you. By the way, this is the metric test. It's probably not one of the better books to study from. The content is good, but the test questions are not similar at all. Let me get back to where I was. Okay, the family life system. This is the way it's supposed to work. You leave home. You get married. You have children. You see that? Look, marriage, then children. Wow, look at that. The children grow up. Launching children. Anybody remember that movie with Jennifer Aniston, Failure to Launch? He was like 35 and the parents hired her to get him out of their basement. Like, get this grown person out of my house. Launch your children. Families later in life, mom and dad die, the cycle starts over. One of the questions you might see is an example of a crisis in the family life cycle. Okay, there's a divorce, right? So the family still has to go on. So you have to help the family cope with the divorce, but yet still have to go to college, right? Things still have to happen. Okay, you'll see questions maybe about when is the happiest time in the family life cycle before you have those kids. Okay, so that's what you'll see on the test. Okay, so back to my studying here. I'm going to go over this and we're going to get to questions. So like I said, we look at both structure and strategic family. So that's where we're going. So then when it comes to my Framo, Ackerman, I don't teach those. I very rarely see anything psychodynamic except Freud in families. Very, very rarely. I'm going to teach experiential therapy, Carl Whitaker. There are two experiential people on the test. One is empty chair. That's who?
Gestalt.
Gestalt. And the other one is Carl Whitaker. Carl Whitaker moves in your house and he lives with you. He experiences what it's like to be a member of your family. Okay. He doesn't do any therapy in the house. He just comes and lives with you. And then he is going to go back to the office and tell you what it was like to be a member of your house. The other one is Gestalt, because when you talk to the empty chair, that's an experience. You're doing something. Only two people that you'll ever see is experiential. Okay. I don't teach a lot about satire. I haven't seen a lot of satire questions. And most often when it talks about communications, it's going to be strategic. It's not going to be satire. You might see those terms, placator, blamer, super responsible. Again, I don't teach a lot of satire questions because, again, and people take the test before, you might get one. So I don't spend a lot of time teaching satire. So I'm going to come back to Bowen because he is systems theory, but we're going to talk about structural and strategic. Structural is Minuchin. Minuchin says your family is taught up from the flow up. Okay? You have no boundaries, no hierarchy, no rules, nothing. When I see a family like this, I see an example. I saw family. I don't do therapy anymore. I do a lot of consulting for schools. So I was consulting. We had this mother. She was, I think, 20-ish, young 20s. 4 kids under the age of 6. The little boy brought a gun to school. It was in a clear backpack, and he never brandished it. It was at the end of the day. Somebody saw it, and they suspended him from school. And I came in to fight that because that wasn't okay. But when I did the family visit, the mother, this is a mother I could not stand. I'm not going to lie to you. And y'all pretend like y'all haven't had families that you cannot stand. And I know it's countertransference. I'm aware of it, but I could not stand this woman. I had to really work to find the strengths process to really find what I could get through because I wanted to choke her. I wanted to choke her. I came by one time, and I think there was a 5 or 6-year-old. He was standing on top of the stove boiling hot dogs. And not in the microwave, on the stove, standing on the stove, boiling hot dogs. Mama was a school bus driver, and she get off from work at 2:33, leave the kids in daycare till about 6. She'd go eat Red Lobster, get her nails done, get everything done, come home and feed the kids like peanut butter and jelly. When you start with the family, when you do structural family therapy, the first thing you do is set up family rules, right? You get the whole family together. And even though only one of the kids was my client, the whole family's the problem. We sit down, we come up with family rules. Never in my life have I ever seen this family rule. If you don't live here, you cannot eat our food. All my kids' friends ate out of my refrigerator all the time. It was like no big deal. Apparently, mother got lots of food stamps for the 4 boys, and whatever man of the day happened to be at the house, they would come and eat the food. Okay. I saw the kids were staying, when they were suspended, mom went to work and they stayed at her grandmother's house, I think. And I'm watching them. I get there before they get there. She's got a van. They're like 5, 4, 3, and a baby. And she goes in the house first and up this high flight of stairs. And the older ones get the baby out of the car seat. The middle child had a hoodie on, and he's walking around like he's holding something in his hoodie. I'm like, I see it. Surely mom saw it. So before that I even get to the house, I guess the grandmother has called, and the boy broke the grandma's piggy bank and it's stolen all the money. And there were like slats in the front porch. All the coins were falling down on the front porch. And I said, where'd you get all that money? I found it. How did mama not even notice? How do you pick up kids and not even notice? I wanted to choke her. I am not gonna lie. I wanted to choke her. I did find some strength. I did. One of the things that her mother had schizophrenia. So she had never been parented. She'd never seen the father of the first two boys. She got pregnant in high school. And she thought he would marry her. He didn't, of course. So I found some things I began to like, but really we had to tell her some rules. Mom, you can't do that. Mom, there was one TV and she would come home and she would watch adult shows on the one TV. You cannot be watching BET shows when you've got little boys around that are full of sex and violence. You cannot do that. So literally teaching her that she's the adult. She just didn't know that she was the adult. So that's what structure looks like. Coming up with firm boundaries, firm rules. Mom, you are the adult. Like it or not, you're the adult. You're in charge. You set the rules. Kids follow the boundaries. We have enmeshed and disengaged. Enmeshed are when the families are too close, and disengaged is when we have no idea what the other people are doing. Okay. Enmeshed families, I think about the Duggars, right? The 27 kids and counting. In the beginning of the show, they were all J Duggars. They didn't even have their own personality. They had their own, they were J Duggar girl, J Duggar boy. As the show began to grow, they began to have their own room and their own space. But I'm 12 making tater tot casserole for 40 people. Did I have them kids? Why am I doing laundry? Am I the mother or am I the child? Roles and boundaries aren't clear. In most of our enmeshed families, like the Duggars, they don't associate with other families. So you're a closed system, you're highly enmeshed. The only people you ever see are your siblings. So we're not surprised that there's incest often in those families. If I'm going through puberty and the only other girls I see are my sisters, why are we surprised? So words that I'm looking for that belong to structural, it's Minuchin, boundaries, hierarchies, rules. Let's see here. Doesn't talk today. Megan, hi, how are you?
Good.
Megan, what state did you grow up in?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, southern enough. What was the rule about going in your mother and dad's bedroom when you were little?
Like how little?
10.
Well, you asked to go in or you knocked, especially if the door was shut or even slightly shut, you knocked.
Got it. Or you just didn't go in, right? It's just, those are rules. Those are really clear family rules, right?
Yes.
That's that. And I asked you because I thought you were a little bit older than some of my 20-year-olds who family might not have those rules. Okay. But those are family rules. Very clear rules. You don't go in mom and dad's room. And if you go, you better knock first and wait for them to answer. Right? That's what's missing in enmeshed families. They don't have those rules. There are families sometimes that kids aren't allowed to close their doors. Okay. And believe me, I've taken some doors off hinges, slam that door one more time. It's mine. Yes, I have taken doors off hinges. I know how to take them out pretty easily, right? You pop that pin out. I got 3 kids. But in general, right, we're allowed to have closed spaces. We're allowed for privacy. I believe you do not go through your child's phone. You respect their privacy. But if something goes down, there's some behavior changes, some grades drop, don't you forget that I own that phone. But in general, they get some privacy. So enmeshed, I'm not sure who I am, where I begin. Disengaged, I have no idea what my kids are doing. Okay, those are the words that I see. I will also see mimesis. I'm going to see the word joined the family. Minuchin joined the family. Remember, they're either very enmeshed or disengaged. And enmeshed families are closed families and it's hard to get in. So he used the word mimesis. He would mimic the family's behaviors to get into tight with the family. Okay, so if they lean in, he would lean in. They lean back, lean back. Tony Robinson teaches that. And remember him, Tony, he was the big talk show, motivator, speaker guy. He's always taught that that we like things about ourselves that we see in other people unconsciously. So that's the term he used, mimesis. So he joined the family. So he mimicked the family by joining the family. And then he did enactments. Enactments are having the family reenact what happened last night. Right? So if I see there was a fight, I'm asking the state, can you show me what happened in the fight? He also did the term family mapping. Family mapping belongs to structural family therapy. So family mapping is literally just the people that are inside the house, the people that are inside that one circle, and people that matter. Like every other theorist that we're going to study, you really have to know who said what. Okay. In the NBC handbook, it tells you what area. So on the website, there's NBC in the NBCC handbook. It tells you what theories are under what area on those K-CREP areas. Okay, somebody asked me what was under what. Okay, so that is family mapping. So again, strategic, hierarchy, boundaries, rules. He used the word reframing. If I have my structure, my house, right? And I want a new window, I want to have a different look at the world, he's going to reframe my house. Reframing is the same thing as relabeling. Relabeling belongs to strategic because it's how we talk to each other. Reframing belongs to structural. And then remember, they both mean interpretation. Having the family look at the world through a different lens. That's it.
Can you give an example of reframing?
I will not, but I'll give you questions soon. Hang with me, okay? I'm trying to get through the theories and we'll get through questions. Okay, strategic family therapy is Jay Haley or Chloe Mendez. Strategic is people just have problems with communicating. It's not like they tore up from the floor up. It's not like they have these really poor boundaries. These are families that really just don't know how to communicate. And many times it's called a strategy because I'm going to give them a strategy of what I want them to do. Okay, so the double bind technique is something you'll see prescribing a symptom. You'll also see the paradoxical approach. The paradoxical approach is the opposite. Okay, so I can't tell anybody to go jump off a bridge, can I? I can't do that. But I can use prescribing the symptom prescribing the symptom is the top. One of the ways of prescribing the symptom is then to do the paradoxical approach. It's a big old fancy term for reverse psychology. Okay, so reverse psychology is you've got a family that's coming in. You've been seeing this family forever. Let's do a couple. You've got a couple and you've been seeing a couple and they keep arguing. And you say to the couple, you know what? I want you to go home and I want you to use bibliotherapy. What's that?
Reading.
Very good. Reading a book. I'm going to, of course, prescribe the Gottman book because that's a test question. That 4 horsemen, the downfall of the marriage. Right? There are the 4 things that cause the downfall of a marriage. That's Gottman. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to also say, I want you to use I statements. What are I statements, Heather Daher?
Yes. I statements are, I feel this way when I came home and saw the dishes weren't clean.
Very good. I feelings when you behave. Test question. I statements. Many times related to Gestalt, but not always. Good job. Very good job. Okay. So I'm going to use those techniques. They keep coming back, yelling and yelling, and they haven't changed a thing. And I say, did you try the stuff I told you? And they're like, no, I didn't try it, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm going to say, fine, go home and yell as loud as you can for the next 3 hours every day between 2 and 6. Something ridiculous. I want them to understand either you want to change or you don't. Either do it or get off the pot. So that is the reason, and that's how we use the paradoxal. That's the opposite. Okay. The double bind, the therapeutic double bind is when the therapist does it. In the double bind, what happens is that I manage to, I give mixed messages. So I say something out of my mouth, but my body doesn't match. Of course, I love you. I love all of my children. You believe me? Okay, so the double bind is when I'm giving my people in my family, my children, mixed messages. So part of what he does is he talks about cleaning up those mixed messages, making sure that we have very clear messages. One of the other things that's not in this book, but what you'll see are first and second order changes. Charmaine, what are first and second order changes?
Uh-oh.
Are
Not
they
coming.
Yeah, oh,
Can
yes,
I help?
yes, it is. Yes, go ahead.
The first change is when the family is faking the problem or the situation, and the second order change is when they already made the change. And also mention it's also part of the when they go into the family to make like a little bit some changes. So it's in the second order change.
Very good. What's your test date?
July 2nd.
I'm gonna miss you.
Why? I didn't hear it. Cut off.
I said I'm gonna miss you. We're about to break up.
I hope so.
We are. We're about to break up. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, the 4 horsemen are on the test. Yes. Okay. So exactly what she said. The first order changes are fake. The second order changes are real. I can't get to the second order until I get to the first order. Okay. An example, I've got a family. There's 3 of them. It's the dad, the stepmom, and the son. And the son cannot stand the stepmom, arguing. I'm going to say to the stepmom, what I want you to do is every day when that kid gets home from school, bring him milk and cookies and smile. No matter what he says to you, no matter what he does, milk and cookies and smile, right? She's biting her tongue till blood is like running down, right? Milk and cookies and smile. Eventually, the kid's going to stop complaining to dad. There's nothing to complain about. She hasn't said anything. She hasn't done anything. So, well, that's a first order change. It'll get to the real order change. We'll learn how to communicate when there's really a problem. So first order changes are fake because you don't want to do that, but you're going through the motions. But I can't get to the second order until I get through the first order. Okay? First and second order changes. And for those of you who are new with us, the reason that we're so good, lots of reasons, but we really try to interview almost everybody that we can that has taken the test. If there's something that I haven't taught, it's my fault. So when we interview you, that's why I make sure I'll say, you know, what did I not teach you? So we really try to to keep up with what's on the test. And definitely if it's something that is not on the test yet, or we didn't teach, it's just not out there yet, I keep that for future tests because a lot of those are study questions that will be on the test in the future. So we keep that information. So I teach college also. So I've got the latest and greatest textbooks that haven't made it to the test yet. So we really try to keep up with what's on the test. So the way that we teach is just not just out of the air. It's really research-based. It is really based on lots and lots of different things, but we definitely are evidence-based.
How do you know what's on the test as it evolves? Magic?
No. So I'm a teacher. So I get the textbook. So if something's coming up in the textbook, it's usually not on the test for about 5 years, usually. The terms broaching and bracketing are newer test terms that I haven't seen in study information. I've seen it on pocket prep, but I haven't seen it in any study information yet. It's in the textbook, but I haven't seen it in study. Broaching is learning to approach the problem. It's actually not a clinical term. It is when I've got a client in my office and I bring up something that's uncomfortable, that's probably affecting their world. If I have a client who is 500 pounds and she comes to me and she says she's depressed and doesn't mention her weight, I'm going to ask her. If I have a client who is a Hispanic and I know that they have families that may be here illegally, I'm going to ask them if they're scared about losing their family members. So things that are socio-political, things that are going on in their lives that they may not bring up, instead of waiting for them to bring it up, I'm going to approach it bravely. I'm going to broach it. I'm going to bring it up. The other term it's new is bracketing. It's actually a research term, but I haven't seen it used that way on the test. Bracketing is literally keeping my stuff at the door. I keep all of my personal beliefs, all of my thoughts, don't bring them in the therapeutic environment. It came from research that when you're doing research that you make sure that you keep your opinions outside of the research. So broaching and bracketing are those terms. Okay.
Dr.
Okay.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So when you tell us, you've mentioned in other groups where you tell us, I don't care what you would do in your own, like what, not that you don't care, but like what, like our opinion doesn't matter when it comes to the test when we're reading a scenario. Do you think bracketing would be a proper term to like,
Okay.
do you know what I mean?
You can take the test terms into your world.
Yeah.
Just not the other way. Does that make sense? Use a broaching in practice. Please use that. Use bracketing in practice, but don't bring what you do into the test.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The other way is perfect. Bring broaching into your practice. Bring it up. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. We get paid to be nosy. That's our job.
Yeah.
Right? We assess. We get paid to ask the questions your mama said don't ask.
Yeah.
How much money do you make? Are you satisfied in the bedroom? We get to ask that. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask the question.
Okay.
Okay. The one other thing I want to go over really quick is Bowen. So Bowen is considered systems theory. He is not structure or strategic. He's systems. That mean teacher made you do the genogram. Go back and look at 3 generations of the crazy in your family. Oh, no, that was just my family, right? Y'all got no crazy. Okay. What you're looking for are patterns that we keep bringing down and down and down. So there are lots of terms, again, that belong just to Bowen. And that's the key is when we look at these questions, you get these one-line questions, you have to know who they belong to. Enmeshment was where everybody's really close and nasty. That belongs to structure. Fusion is the exact same thing, but it belongs to Bowen. It means the exact same thing, but it just belongs to Bowen. He says that families are fused, generationally fused. We carry everybody's back, right? 4th of July is coming up. Y'all got some plans, right? 4th of July barbecue. Y'all gonna make the same way, the potato salad the exact same way grandmama did it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. People in the South, we are really good about taking healthy foods. We're going to put some salt on the watermelon and on the apple. We're going to put some sugar in the green beans and in the corn. Only Southern people know how to take healthy food and mess it up. We put some fat in the green beans, right? We do it because we've always done it that way. Brandy's got diabetes, right? She's still got missing an eye, got some toes already cut off. And you better give her a big old piece of cake. Because we've always done it. I know, just my family, right? You're not, no, none of your family. No, just my family, right? Y'all are, okay. So what Bowen wants us to do is, if we continue to do it, at least know why. At least know why we do it. So many of us repeat patterns, and many of our patterns are not that unhealthy. However, sexual abuse is rampant in families. And it kills me when I see a mother who was sexually abused by her dad drop her kid off at her dad's house. What's wrong with you? He won't do it anymore. What's wrong with you? I want to choke you. So those are things that we pass down. Anybody work with families that got too drunk and Santa forgot to come? Oh, I guess just in the South. Okay, it happens. Santa forgets to come and they think it's funny, and then they do the same thing to their kids. We keep those patterns going over and over again, over and over again. So when your teacher made you do the genogram, the goal was to look at patterns that you keep passing down, and then choosing to either stop those patterns or at least understand. So I'm looking for words. Okay. He said the family is an emotional unit. That's not a good thing. It's a big old nasty emotional mess. Okay. He says that knowing the family's history more than one generation was central to knowing the family. Sometimes it's called transgenerational. I've seen intergenerational as well. Okay. And then differentiation of self. I can distinguish between my thoughts and my feelings, and I can tell the difference between my thoughts and my feelings and my family's thoughts and feelings. How many times have you seen people on TV and they ask them who they voted for and they say so-and-so, and you ask them, because we always voted that way. Why? He used the word triangulation. He's the first person that belongs to him. He said a family is not a family until you have 3 people. So triangle is the family. Triangulation, right, is now when 2 people are fighting and a third person comes in to stop the fighting between the 2. It can be mom and dad are fighting and are about to get a divorce. Little Bobby starts to act out at school, right? Now the focus is on little Bobby, not on the 2 people that are fighting. It can be mom and daughter are fighting. And she says to her husband, come get this kid before I kill her. In the therapeutic arena, if the therapist takes a side, the husband is right. That's triangulation. Husband and wife aren't fighting, and where are they? I've taken a side. That's why we don't take sides. But that's triangulation. So you can see it many different ways. Don't just think it has to be a couple and somebody else, okay? People can come in or you can invite people in. Either way, it's unhealthy. We don't want to do that. Anybody see your families in any of these 3 theories I've discussed so far? Did y'all see y'all's families?
I have a family in the last one.
The DSM, you already diagnosed yourself when you were in grad school, right? So you already did that when you learned the DSM. And I mind you, you made an A in your family's class. You wrote a great paper on Bowen, but you didn't learn one thing. But you did get an A. Okay? So anyway, that word I used before, fusion. There's fusion between the 2 processes. So fusion is when, again, I'm not sure where I begin and you end. Okay. Oh, Christy, just tell me that. I cannot read that.
I'm sorry. I was So in my class, whatever, psychopharmacology counseling class, they use the example of being very direct with a client about their weight to figure out what they were dealing with and whatnot. The example, they got really pissed off and screamed and yelled and blah, 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 because of the directness. The lesson was about utilizing motivational interviewing.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Okay.
So I would use MI. However, the scenario that I use is they came in for depression. So if they come in for something not related, I'm just going to ask. I'm not their therapist to get them to lose weight. I'm going to ask, do you think these two things are related? Or do I think that, I'm going to approach it and I'm going to bring it up. But if that's on her presenting problem, that's okay. But I'm still going to bring it up. Does that make sense?
It does. Yes. Thank you.
Do you know where MI comes from?
I do not.
Anybody know?
Business world.
Substance use.
Substance abuse, the trans-theoretical model. That's where it comes from, the stages of change. In my lifetime, when people were drug, alcohol had problems and they were in pre-contemplation, the lady who didn't realize that she had a eating problem, people that don't realize that they have a drug or alcohol problem, they're in pre-contemplation, right? So between pre-contemplation and contemplation is where we use MI. We literally used to yell at you. What is wrong with you? Are you stupid? Do you not realize how much you messed up your life? Honestly, this came out probably in 2004. I'm sorry, 2004, 2005. I remember going to a training of it. So that's when it's really new, relatively new in the worlds that we study. So contemplation is where I'm trying to get them to get that maybe I do have a problem. So MI comes in between pre-contemplation and contemplation. One of the words you'll see many times with MI is ambivalence. We're trying to get them to get away from being ambivalent, to realize that they have a problem. Okay, it came from this world. This is not used with just drug and alcohol anymore, but that's where it started. So whoever said that, who said that? You get some high five points. Very cool. Yes, that's where it came from. And MI comes in there. Okay. Bowen. So again, I'm going to just finish up Bowen and we're going to do some questions. So the goal again is the fusion is Bowen, not enmeshed. Triangulation, when 3 people come in. He wants us to differentiate. He wants us to be very careful that we separate ourselves from our families of origin. That's called differentiation of self. This one, differentiation of self, right? I distinguish myself, my feelings from my family. Nuclear family emotional system. He says that if you come from a family that's all yucky, gross, and everybody's in everybody's business, you're going to marry somebody at the same level of differentiation. I didn't say it, Bowen did. Right? So if you're married to a family where everybody knows everybody's business and there's no separation of people, you're going to marry someone at that same level. By the way, I grew up in a family that was very, very much nasty, gross, close. Nasty, gross, close. I grew up on family property. All of my mom was the oldest and she had 6 sisters and 2 brothers, and everybody was in everybody's business. I tell this story all the time. When I was about 9 or 10, my grandma lifted my shirt and said, "Oh, look, you're getting boobies," in front of all of my uncles and cousins and everybody else. And my mother said nothing. The minute I left that town, you know I did. Okay, I have not been back. I love them from afar, very afar. So, honestly, just know, my mom was the oldest, so I definitely remember hearing things that I shouldn't hear. Like my mother be doing my hair and my aunts are talking about their husbands and what their husbands was doing. I didn't need to hear that. That's what happens when families are just so close. There's no boundaries. And to this day, I still have 5 sisters. My mom is 5. My mom died, by the way. I have 5 sisters left. If I only have to call one of them, everybody's going to know in 5 minutes. Just one of them. Emotional cutoff again. So emotional cutoff involved in the projection process to try to escape the fusion. Okay, emotional cutoff again. He says if you move away physically, that's only a deception. If you're still involved in all this mess, that's not emotional cutoff. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Genogram. Okay, that's a quick view of everybody. I'm going to now put it in questions to see what it looks like in a question. Anything you want to ask me while I pull up questions?
Dr. I took the class last Saturday with Coach Jennifer.
I saw that. You want the Hell Week book?
And she said the recording didn't take. Is there any, do you know if they were, I'm sorry?
Somebody want the Hell Week book from last week. So I'm going to tell you.
It did. She sent it.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I know I own the company, but all I know is how to teach. I don't know how you got here. I don't know how you paid. I don't know how you get on my schedule. I don't know. So ask my staff. They will gladly tell you. I have no clue. And I'm not being a smart aleck. I just don't know.
We got it in the email.
It's in the email.
It's in the email. Yeah.
Dr. Pam, I want to ask you a question about family systems, what you just was doing.
Can you wait? Because I'll probably answer it in a question.
It's kind of like, it's not a question within like what the, like, I want to know, since you went over the amount that you went over, are you saying that's the most important? So should we go a little bit further when we study?
No. Not at all. Don't pick up any other theorists that I didn't go over.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
That answered my question then. Thank you.
You saw me purposely go through and skip people. Now, I didn't go over like narrative family therapy because you have to know narrative. But like Ackerman and Framo, don't. And I'm not going to say that they won't be on the test. I'm going to tell you that the one you might get is not worth missing the others because you're trying to get every little piece. And I know my OCD people think y'all need to know every single thing in this book. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And I do say, if you have really done well and we're tutoring and you've done really well, then I can go back and teach you other things that you might see. So my students that get like 135, 140, that's what else. So the Milan systemic theory is broke into two schools. Remember I said it's family systems. It broke into structural and strategic. But yes, my students who get like 135, we've learned the basics, and then I can teach you more, but only until I know that you're going to pass this test without a shadow of a doubt. I teach to all the tests. Remember that. I teach to psychologists. I teach to the LMFT, the ABCDE. I teach to all the mental health. I like single parent and blended family. I don't teach that because I really think you know that.
Yeah, I just remember seeing a couple questions on that.
Yeah, and I didn't teach that because I think you know what a blended family is. That you've watched the Brady Bunch growing up. Don't you got a stepdaddy, stepmama, some step cousins? Sorry, those were blended families. I'm not honestly. So that's something I think you know. But thank you for putting that in there. What is homeostasis?
Their routine.
Is it good or bad?
Could be either. Or no. Yeah, it could be either.
With the families we work with, which is it?
It will be bad.
It is bad. Not Salvador Minuchin. Minuchin's job was to unbalance your routine. He wanted to change your homeostasis. He wanted to get rid of the crazy in your family. And what we know is that in the when we're looking at unbalancing the system, families like their homeostasis. They like their crazy. You like your crazy, right? So many times what we might see happen is, so for example, dad's been an alcoholic for a long time and dad finally gets clean. And then we see that little Bobby then becomes mentioned on drugs. On the elderly, you will see elderly, but normal things about the elderly. You're going to see, like, it doesn't change, right? If I was a rotten bad person when I was younger, I'll be a rotten bad person when I'm older. That doesn't change at all. So when I have a huge theory, if you see people in the nursing home by themselves, there's a reason. Okay, so personality doesn't change. On the social work test, there is a question about a woman. Then a parent gets upset because her mother is having sex with a man. If you like sex when you were younger, you like sex when you were older. That doesn't change. And the nursing home, that's where you live. So as long as both adults are incapable of making decisions, then you have to have a private room. You can call Bumble or whatever those things are, come over and do me. Fine. It's really okay. It's okay. So that doesn't change when you get older. Neurocognitive disorders are the DSM questions. So, right, a neurocognitive disorder is Alzheimer's, dementia. Not everybody gets that. What happens is physically I slow down after 30. But just know that I don't change after that. I really don't. Okay, sorry about that. Let me get back to my test. Who is putting questions? Who's putting answers in the chat box? Heather. Heather, why did you come close?
What's up?
You're putting answers in the chat box on the test. Did you come close to the test?
Oh yeah, I missed it by like 5 points.
Oh, when are you taking it again?
July 2nd.
Very cool. Are you with one of my staff members?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Very
I'm with
cool.
Lolita. Yep.
Very good. Very
Yep.
good. Very good. Lolita's
You'll see me again. I'll be back here.
Yeah.
Praising it. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Heather, are you with somebody on my staff? Yes. Very good. And again, we always love it when you share. So anything you want to share, we always appreciate that. Okay, Avery, I haven't heard from you at all tonight. This is your question. Okay, Avery, remember what we're going to do is we're going to read the question. We're going to understand the question first. We always spend more time in the question than in the answers. Okay. Oh my goodness. Marianne, are you with somebody too? With one of my staff members? Very good. Very good. Very good. We can figure out what you're missing. Okay. So what we're looking at again, this is how we always read the questions, even if we know the answer. Read the question, understand the question. Read all 4 and then rule out. And to read out loud because it's recorded.
Wait, I don't see a question.
We don't see the question.
You have to read my mind. By the way, all of your tutors were sitting in your seat. Everybody on my staff was sitting in your seat. We hire from within. We don't hire everybody, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, but and you don't have to score really big. You just have to have really good camera presence and really enjoy being on camera 24/7. Okay, so Okay, now can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, read the question out loud, please.
Which technique helps to assess and bring to light particular dynamics and interactive patterns in the system without requiring the therapist to actually verbally reframe the problem?
Oh my God, what the heck does that even say? Is that English?
Doesn't feel like it.
Okay, so let's understand the question. It's a technique. I'm gonna use it's a thing I'm using, right? I'm trying to assess and focus, right? Bring like focus on the problem with the dynamics and the interactive patterns in the family. I'm trying to focus on how the family operates, right? But I'm not changing the question. Does that make sense? I'm not verbally reframing the question. Okay, so I'm asking it the exact same way. Make sense?
Yeah.
A little bit better.
Yes, it does.
Okay, we're gonna read all four.
Reading from the top to the bottom.
Okay.
A, reflection of feelings. B, circular questions. C, reenactment. And D, directive questions. And so without requiring the therapist to actually verbally reframe the problem.
Even if I know the answer, I am going to still rule out.
Okay. I'm going to rule out directive questions.
Okay.
And then I'm going to rule out reflection of feelings.
Okay. I'm down to B and C. When I get down to 2, I'm always going to make sure that I compare the 2 to each other, but also I make sure it answers the question. Okay.
And so I'm leaning towards C, reenactment, because you were asking them to show.
Hold on. Did I see them acting out something? Did you see that I asked them to stand up and do something in the question?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'm just, maybe there's some words there that I didn't see. Did y'all see that I said stand up and go? Did I?
What I thought was the bring to light particular dynamics and interactive patterns was what made me go to it, but you're right.
Okay, Sharon, we don't answer in the box, but you get the next question. Don't worry. Okay, so it is circular questioning. I said it earlier in a much clearer way, where I ask everybody in the family the same question. Unfortunately, on the CPCE and on the NCE, this is how they're written. Is that true? Am I making it up? My people that have taken the test, are they written like, what the heck? That's what they look like. It makes it so hard. So that's why I want you to spend so much time in the question, okay? And honestly, the technique that I used to assess, and I could see where you did that, interactive patterns, I could see where you were going, but it didn't get up and do anything. And an enactment really is act out what was happening last night. I want you to show when mom and dad were fighting, what was everybody else doing? Okay. You're not old enough to remember, but back in the day, what's his name? Adam Walsh. He would do the reenactments. He would say, this is not really the crime. It's a reenactment of the crime. So people like to reenact the crime. Okay. Does that make sense?
That does make a lot of sense.
Don't worry. Most everybody would have missed it.
Can we ask a clarifying question to you about this process?
Of course.
This is the first time hearing you guys go through like how to read it and whatever the steps are you mentioned earlier. I'm wondering why you wouldn't rule out circular questions and directive questions to begin with, like, because that's where my thoughts went when you were saying that you're not reframing the problem. So you're not re-asking different questions.
I'm asking the same question. Okay. So I'm asking the same question to try to figure out in the family and focus on a particular dynamic of the family. I'm asking everybody the same question.
So circular questions. Can you give a quick definition of that?
This answer right here. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'll try
not
to give you another one, but it literally means asking everybody in the family the same question. It could be, what time do we have breakfast? It doesn't matter. It's asking everybody the same question. That's it.
That's not understanding. Like you're in a group and you're saying, when are you having breakfast?
Exactly.
And then they try to answer, and then you literally the exact same phrase
to the
when
next person.
Are you having breakfast?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
in the
an example of
circular questioning. I want to know what everybody thinks. Okay. So I want to say, so what time do you think is a good time to have breakfast, Avery? Alberta, what time do you think is a good time to have breakfast? Quincy, on weekends, I'll change the question. What time do you have breakfast? It's literally the same question to everybody in the group and everybody in the family. That's all it means.
Dr. Pam, so it's the last part where it says without requiring the therapist to actually verbalize and reframe the problem. Is that the part that says she's asking whoever it is asking that question to everyone? Is that the part?
Okay, so remember, I talked about reframing. Reframing is structural, relabing is strategic. It means to interpret. I didn't interpret. I asked the exact same question. Okay. Don't overthink it. I swear, don't overthink it, but you have to read the question. You have to understand the question.
Dr. Pam, it's a reading test.
I've heard that before. Okay, Sharon, you were so dying to answer. Take this one.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try. All right. A solution-based therapist listen for blank and examples of what works when clients are talking. A, miracles. B, symptoms. C, problems. D, exceptions. So I'm definitely going to
stay in my question. Stay in my question.
Okay.
Stay in my question.
So the solution-based therapist listen for.
What
so
is
the question,
solution focused?
Solution focused is they looked at identifying what the problem is and help the client to solve that problem, finding the solution to their problem.
When are you taking your test?
July 2nd. But I'm going to
girl.
I'm going to read back because there's so much material, Dr. Pam. I'm just like, and part of it is anxiety as well.
Well,
So I did get
accommodations, and you need some, and you need some drugs.
Yes, I did.
Drugs.
And I'm doing that too.
Very good. Accommodations and drugs. Anxiety is real. Okay. Let's see here. I know somebody knows what solution focused is. Marianne, solution focused. What words am I looking for?
Well, it's Glaser. No, oh, sorry. Glaser is realistic, right?
Reality. Glaser's reality. He talks about responsibility and choice. Heather, either Heather.
Oh, yes.
Stephen de Chazar.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, I thought that's who you said you were asking for.
Oh, no, okay. I said either Heather. Okay.
Miracle questions.
Okay. We don't put answer in the chat box, Avery. Did I not say that already? Do you want another question?
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
No question in the chat box. Okay. So solution focus what I ask you, either Heather, one of you can answer, is I ask you, what are the terms that I'm looking for? Not who wrote it. I don't care who wrote it. What are the terms?
Miracle questions.
Miracle question. I woke up tomorrow. A miracle happened. The scaling technique on a scale from 1 to 10. And what's the other one?
Exceptions.
Exception question. Solution focus is only 3 to 5 sessions. I will do solution focus with a family as well. Okay. So solution focus therapist, listen for blank and examples of what works for the client. And Avery is correct. It is D. I'm looking for when the problem is not a problem. Okay. But I'm going to tell you, Sharon, if you don't know solution focused therapy and you're going to test in 2 weeks, we got some concerns. Okay.
And I know a lot of it is the anxiety. I know it. So that's why I'm trying my best to address it. Because when I took it last, I missed it by 5 points. And it was the anxiety.
I would suggest that what medicine are you on? And you can say none of my business.
It's hydroxine. I think that's how you pronounce it.
So that's
hydroxyzine.
Yeah, that's fine. You take only that day of the test. You don't take it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Is that how she prescribed it? That's what I'm asking you.
As needed.
Yeah, as needed. So most often, did you take some today?
No.
Maybe you should have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call a spade every day. Okay. If you know your tutor was up to plan, you better take some drugs.
I have it with Lanika, and she saw that when we got to assessments, and the anxiety was high, but it finally came down, and we kind of went. I was like, yeah.
Honestly, though, so what you want to do is you don't want to get your haircut the day of the wedding. You take it when you're practicing. You take it when you're studying. That's how it works, right? So I know if that dosage works. I know if I get too sleepy. I know if it lasts 4 hours or 8 hours. I really need to take it. Okay. Okie dokie. Oh, let's see here. Oh, Nicole, you look like you want a question.
Yeah, sorry, I have to go pick up my son from work.
Go ahead, then get it quickly.
I'll get the question quickly. Let me put my glasses on. I knew he was going to get me. Okay, so it says Maud is a 13-year-old who has been truant for 31 days. In addition, her parents report that she sleeps all day and stays up most of the night. She has gained 30 pounds over the past 6 months. She looks sad and has isolated herself from all her friends. A structural family therapist treating Maud and her family for the first time would most likely.
My question. Paraphrase what's happening in the question.
Okay. Hold on. My glasses fell. I'm trying to find them. Okay. So I can really see this question.
I got old lady font.
Okay, so thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so
she's 13, right?
13 years old.
She hadn't been in school in 31 days.
She's been truant for 31 days. And she's done gained 30 pounds over the past 6 months. She isolates herself from all her friends and looks sad. And
if I'm a structural family therapist,
right.
So in my mind, that's where I'm thinking words that belong to Minuchin. That's where I'm going, right? About Minuchin words, okay? So now I read all 4.
A, point out the triangulation between Maud, parents, and school. B, join with the family and adopt their language, behaviors, and style. C, clearly point out dysfunctional interaction patterns whenever they occur. D, help the family identify the unspoken rules that govern the family.
What is something I would not do? No way, no how that Minuchin would do.
I guess C, clearly point out the dysfunctional interaction patterns whenever they occur.
That is probably more of a strategic family therapy, but either way, I don't know if I would do that on the first session. It's the first time we've met.
Right.
Okay.
I guess I think I also would rule out help the family identify the unspoken rules that govern the family.
What therapist would that belong to? Sorry.
I'm not sure.
That's structure. That's still structure, right?
That is the structure.
That is a structural family. Absolutely. I still don't know that's what I would do first, but it is structure, so I'm not going to take it out yet.
Okay.
What else can I take out for sure that doesn't belong to structure? Hint, hint. Triangulation belongs to Bowen.
Okay. A, point out the
Okay.
triangulation. Yes.
Yes. Good. We knew that. I was just helping you out. Okay. Triangulation belongs to Bowen. That does not belong to structural family therapy. Now, both B and D do belong to Mnuchin. The key in the question, though, is what would I do first? Okay, Quincy's just going to answer.
I would go with B.
Yes. I would use mimesis, mimic the family, and join
in with them,
yes. Adapt to their language, behavior, and style. That is mimesis. Good job. Quincy was like, I know this answer. I know nothing else other than Pam tonight, but I knew this answer. The look on your face was so exciting. Everybody see how we got there? Well, yes, Dr. Pam. That was so easy. Thanks. I'm glad. My pleasure. Quincy, you want this one? Of course I do, Dr. Pam.
Yeah, I take it. I've been getting it right. That one question, I changed my answer because I saw somebody change. They had a different answer and I got it wrong, but I had the right.
What's that called?
The wrong thing to do.
Group think. Group think. Remember?
Oh,
I do it when you were little and your mama said, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? And you say, yes, mama, I would, because the textbook says group think means we're all going to do it. It's also called the risky shift phenomenon, right? I'll take a riskier chance when other people are around. Okay, here we go.
A family meets with a social worker following a teenage daughter breakup with her boyfriend. The mother states that she really likes the boy and has felt very depressed since the breakup. The father has tried to contact the boy, the boy in hopes of repairing the relationship. According to the family system theory based approach, what is most likely happening in the family? They got lots going on. They got a lot going on.
Okay, so go ahead. Take your time.
They working together though, the mom and the dad, and they're being attentive to their daughter. The dad went an extra mile to talk to the boy. I wouldn't do that, but that ain't about me. So it's a family. So what in a family system theory based approach? What's most likely happening in this family? Can I answer read the answers choices?
Do you understand the question?
I think I do.
Okay, then read all four.
It's a system. It's a system. They seem like their family are very close together, but it's not saying too close, like immersed. But let's get to the questions. Answers say the following: the family has a connected relationship. I kind of like that. It is an enmeshed family system. It is a disengaged family system. It is a separate family system. All right, so it seems like everybody working together. I'm gonna take out.
Hold on. I think you are misunderstanding the question.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Let's go back way back when dinosaurs roamed the land and you were little.
Okay.
Okay, so if you and your girlfriend broke up and your mom and daddy called the girlfriend and said, "Can you please get back with Quincy?" Would that be okay?
Nah, they too involved. But I still, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they too involved.
So now, let's rule out. What would it not be?
D.
Okay, D is out.
C.
C is out.
All right.
Now between A and B.
All right. So, all right. I'm gonna go with my first choice after reading it. I'm gonna go with B.
Yes. You called the girl's boyfriend?
Yeah.
Business? Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Unhealthy. Not that I hadn't thought about it. Believe me, because I have. But I didn't do it.
Okay.
I've thought about paying some boys to stay with my daughter. Like, you'll just stay longer. Our life is so much easier when she's dating you. I'm sorry, too much information, but yes. But yeah, like I ain't got that one child. You know, trying to get someone to marry. Very good. So you almost lost it because you didn't understand the question, though.
Right. Maybe I should just slow down.
You didn't understand the question because I asked you twice to make sure you understood it. Okay. She said, so they called the boyfriend to help fix the relationship. Hello, that's between the girlfriend and the boyfriend, not the mom and dad.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's to the test, not real life stuff. Gotcha.
Even in real life stuff, you better not call that girl's boyfriend.
What?
She will never speak to you again, Daddy. You cannot call it. That's real life too. I'm going to do about 5 or 6 more questions. Who would like one?
Dr. Pam, real quick. Is when I read that question that he just did the first time, my brain immediately went to when it said the mother states that she really liked the boy. I did not see the word the mother. So in my head, I'm reading it and I'm thinking that the child, the teenager, is talking about how she's very depressed.
So what's one of the reasons that you read it out loud for me? And also I like the private room because you read it out loud. Okay. Because sometimes when not reading it to myself, I miss words. But if I read it out loud and then I go back and I read it again out loud. Okay. Have you had a question?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Oh, where's the one I just did? There we go. Look at that one.
Social worker is conducting a family therapy session with a single mother and her 2 teenage sons. The mother states her youngest son is refusing to attend school. If the social worker uses the structural family therapy approach, what should they do first? I like how they capitalize the word first, so that's helpful. So we've got a situation where the social worker is doing a session with a mom and her 2 boys. They're teenagers. And mom's mentioning that the youngest is refusing to attend school. So for structural family approach, okay, we're going to read the question. So I think I understand it because they want to know what is the structural therapist going to do first in this situation. So you said the next thing to do is to read all 4, right? Encourage the mother to discuss how her son's actions are making her feel. Would be A. B. Provide the family with resources for homeschooling. C. Meet with the son separately and explore why he does not want to attend school. D. Encourage the mother to take control and insist that her son go to school.
We're going to rule out. Even if I know the answer, we're still going to rule out.
The first thing that comes to mind is You're not going to separate the child and treat them independently from the family.
So I'm taking out C.
Yeah. And then I want to say the first thing would not be to discuss a referral for the resources to homeschooling. I'm sorry, not referral, but offering resources. That might be something, but not first.
Okay. Good job. Good job.
I think the other two are both important. I'm not exactly sure how to.
So
Let's
here's
see.
what we're gonna,
I think.
Hold on. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay. Most people get stuck in the question. They get stuck in what the question is, the four choices. I'm gonna go back to the question. What kind of therapist am I?
Structural family therapist.
I'm thinking of words that belong to structural family therapy.
So my gut feeling is D because of the structure. Who's the mom, right? And taking control.
So butt in there and get to school.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I wanted to kind of think about the feelings, you know, because that's important. How is it, but not with
structural family therapy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. That's what we do. It is not important to structural family therapy. Very good. Very good. Very good. Who wants one? If you're testing soon, you'll be taking some questions.
I can go.
Okay.
All of the following are Gottman's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, except all of the following are Gottman's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, except criticism, defensiveness, diffuse psychological arousal, or stonewalling. Gottman 4 horsemen. Well, I don't think we talk about that one.
Well, I did. I put it in the chat box. I did. I put it. It's at the very top somewhere. It's the downfall of a marriage. At 7:55. Do you see it? Just scroll back up to the top.
Oh, let me see it.
I'll download it and re-add it.
First order change.
So this is the Gottman method. And what I usually say is if we're going to have our clients do bibliotherapy, I'm going to have them read a book. And the book I'm going to have them read is the Gottman method, right? So it talks about the 4 horsemen, which are the downfall of a marriage. One second.
Dr. Pam, did you say the downfall of a marriage?
Called The Apocalypse or The Downfall of a Marriage. The name of their book is the 4 Horsemen. It's the things that cause your marriage to fall apart. Criticism, content. That's an awful. Criticism, content, stonewalling, and defensiveness.
So we're looking for actions, right? Not processes.
I don't think I understood the question.
When we're looking at the answers to the question, and you're trying to figure out, you know, what you can eliminate.
So from your, this is just a recall question. So in this one, I just have to know the theory. This is one of those ones that if I don't know the theory, I am just SOL. So I think these are the hardest ones because, you know, when it gives me a lot more choices or a lot more things I can figure out, then it's easier to figure out. But this one is either I know or I don't know. Let's put it again. One second, I'm trying to get it to open. Make it bigger. By the end of the day, my computer is like, we cannot do this anymore. I only have about 17,000 tabs open.
So do you know it's a recall question because of using the, like, because they're asking you, accept this, this is that, accept
No,
this?
I know it's a recall because it's either you know it or you don't. I can't, if I don't know this, there's no figuring it out. In other questions, when it's not a recall, those are application questions. This is just a recall. So the 4 horsemen, these are what things that cause a marriage to fail, according to the Gottmans. Okay, criticism, verbally attacking your partner. What you should do is instead with a gentle startup using I statements. Contempt. Contempt is you didn't take out the trash, and by the way, you sucked in bed last night also. Just taking that knife and just digging it in deeper. We build a culture of appreciation. Defensiveness. It's only you and I that live in the house. What do you mean you didn't leave the toilet seat up? Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Take responsibility for what you did. That might be some personal stuff. There might be some counter transference. That might be why I'm single. I don't know. Okay. Stonewalling. I'm just not going to talk about it. Okay. So back to the question, which one of those which one of those doesn't belong?
So I will go with the ones that belong to Gottman, and it's I will remove stonewalling.
Oh, how about we just pick the answer?
Differently colored.
Okay. And I'm glad you got that question because that's something that you needed to know. And I'm sorry that you didn't know that. That's the Gottman.
Okay.
Okay. Again, so recall questions to me are the hardest ones because either I know it or I don't. And there's no, you can't figure it out. Some questions you can figure out, but other ones you just really can't if I don't know if I don't know the answer. Who else wants one?
Oh, me. Can I get one?
Who can?
Thank you. Family therapy would probably be the primarily intervention choice for all except which of the following? A, borderline personality issues. B, problems with relationships. C, problems in an individual around times of family and transitions. And then D, problems with children. Therapy primarily would be the primary intervention choice for all except which of the following? So except, okay, so problems with relationships, that could be family therapy.
So, and it's an accept question, right? I picked the ones that I know are true.
So B is true.
So B is true. Very good.
D is true.
D
Problems
is
with
true.
children. And then C is also true. Problems with an individual around times of family transitions. So it's borderline personality issues.
Very good. Very good. For the bonus round, what therapist says that you have borderline because you didn't have the same caregiver?
She has like the fusion. Is that the one fusion with children?
What's her name?
Margaret Maylers?
Margaret.
Yes, yes, Mailer. Yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Let me give you a couple more.
That borderline personality issue, that would be like that Jeffrey Dahmer thing you talked about.
No, borderlines are yes or black and white. We use DBT to treat borderlines. They love you, love you, love you, hate you, hate you, hate you. The Jeffrey Dahmers are my antisocial.
Antisocial.
They are the ones that will eat you and blame you.
Gotcha.
Okay, I didn't talk about this question. I want to make sure I just picked this up. In every part of psychology, there's never a good or bad. It's either positive or negative. Either we add or we take away. There's never a good or bad. Okay. So I missed a D in there. So in feedback loops, a negative feedback loop means I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. So nothing changed. In a positive feedback loop, something has happened, something is added, and it causes the family to change. Not good or bad. Remember, we talk about reinforcement, negative or punishment, adding or taking away. Not good or bad, just adding or taking away. In schizophrenia, there are positive symptoms of schizophrenia. They're hallucinations and delusions. Those aren't good. They're just added. So in family therapy, when I do positive feedback loops, I've added something and the family changes. Negative feedback loops, the family doesn't change. It remains in homeostasis. Okay. Who wants this one? Go ahead. Heather, Dar. There.
Second order change describes when a system restructures its homeostasis in response to blank, and the rules that govern the system fundamentally shift. So it's talking about second order change and how when a system restructures in its homeostasis, it'll respond to what and those rules that govern that system.
Okay, so what I know is that second order change, right? That belongs to strategic family therapy. That's the real change. Okay, and restructuring its homeostasis means this family really changed. Understand the question. Now I'm going to read all four of my choices.
Positive feedback, cybernetics, paradoxical interventions, and negative feedback. So we know cybernetics is what describes the loops and how they talk to each other.
It's the study of how families talk to each other.
Okay.
Okay. I know that makes no sense, but that's just what it's called. It should be a computer thing, shouldn't it? It should be.
Oh, yeah. And then paradoxical interventions, isn't that what you said earlier with kind of like reverse psychology?
Got it.
Okay. So since it's second order and they did change, that means that it is what we're going to eliminate. So we're going to eliminate the paradoxical intervention.
Okay. Do we take out cybernetics also?
Yes.
Okay.
And it would not be negative. That would be if nothing had changed. It would be positive.
Okay. So adding something changed the family. Ding, ding, ding. It rocked their homeostasis. It changed their world. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, there is our link to Pocket Prep. So again, I've always suggested that you purchase it before we affiliated with them. Most of you will take the test before I actually have questions that are published with them. We're going through the process. And you asked for the Hellwig book. I'm going to give you that as well. Also going to give you the transcripts from today. I tell you, take everything out of the chat box. Because you'll get the sheet of paper, you'll get the questions, but not always everything I remember to put in the chat box. I want the transcripts from today. Oh, let me have some transcripts. Save transcripts. Go in folder. Go back to the chat. Find my transcript. Where'd they go? Those are the transcripts, the closed caption verbatim of what happened today in group. And I'll give you the hell of it. Any other questions?
Dr. Pam, have you seen questions around the games?
The games people play, that belongs to transactional analysis. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
Or no, not transactional analysis. The under the Milan systemic one? No. Yeah, okay.
No. The only time that I've seen and that I teach the games have to do with TA.
Okay. That's adult, parent, child. Got
and
it.
the last one, remember, so that's when that's the last one is the where we're supposed to be becoming adult to adult, and you're actually using that childhood script and talking to me like I'm a child, talking down to me, playing games with my head. So he calls that the games people play. Those are 3rd degree games, are dangerous. Okay. So yes. And the goal of TA is what?
The goal of TA, isn't it to be able to understand the communication between each?
Got it. He says it's the goal is to learn the verbiage of TA. Okay. And then he's also a very confrontal person. He's coming at the person who's playing the games. So if you're using your childhood script that you learned in childhood, he's going to be very directive, all up in your stuff, talking about why are you doing that? He said people that play games avoid intimacy. Okay. So the goal is either to come from the appropriate ego state to live a scriptless life, or to get rid of the scripts I learned in childhood.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? I'll put these in chat.
Well, yes, Dr. Pam, I just wanted to say that I'm testing towards the ending of next month, and I was able to get the accommodations.
Very good.
Yeah, and I just use my sciatic nerve. You know, when it's messing up, I'm up and down, up and down, up and down. And then my doctor put a couple of things down, and it was no problem. And I'll be testing 10 minutes from my house.
Very good. Very good. 2 extra hours in the private room.
Yes, I do.
Very good. Very good.
If you don't mind me asking, how long did it take for them to get back to you?
Once you do it online and put pay the money, they're waiting. No, you send the accommodations first, I believe, and you pay the money, and they got back to me because I'm kind of friendly on the phone. I got to know the lady directly.
Okay.
She said, once I get it, I'll send you an email and da 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 da. So it was in maybe a week or something.
Oh, okay.
They got tired of her calling.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
we say prepare for 6 to 8 weeks. Okay.
Right.
And if you turn in your
I was going to say all of that paperwork stuff takes a while, but once the accommodations and everything are in, the paperwork is in, it's quick. But the process, it was a waiting list in terms of, well, they checked for you. They said, okay. I said, well, could you check? They said, we don't have anything until September. I said, maybe I'll try July. He says, okay, could you hold on? And they actually search it out for you. So he said, just pick a date. And so I picked a date, and they have to get back to you in 6 days, within 6 to 7 days, with a date. And they were accurate. They got back to me.
Does your tutor say that you're ready?
He says I'm doing okay.
I'd ask her. They're supposed to tell you if you're not ready. They're supposed to tell you if you're not ready. And I have a head coach that goes back and watches the videos because we don't, and I don't know if you're ready or not. Please don't. I have no clue. But our goal is our coaches are supposed to be very upfront with you and tell you that you're just not ready.
He hasn't said that yet.
Okay.
And I had 2 sessions. I have 2 more, 2, maybe 4 more. So, you know, I'll be in tutoring until the end.
Okay. Very good. But all of us my coaches don't like to say it. Nobody likes to say it but we're not going to set you up for failure. Anybody.
Well, if it's
we're
true,
not going to
it's
do that.
true. Yeah, because you say it.
But I own the company. They're afraid sometimes to say it. So I remind them I won't fire them. I won't just say it.
No.
If they're not ready, tell them that's not fair to set anybody up for failure.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I put the questions, I put the Hellwig book, I put the notes, I put my pocket prep link. This will go away when I hang up. Did everybody get everything out of that chat box they wanted?
I don't know how to get it out of the chat box, but I'll ask one of the ladies.
You right click it and save it to your desktop. If you go right below it, there's on the side, there's 3 dots. And it says more, and then it says copy or open file.
It's not even moving.
Yeah, but I'm on my phone, unfortunately.
Yeah, on your phone. Yeah, it's hard.
Not on my computer. Okay, I know one of the ladies. I'll ask her to email it to me.
Okie dokie.
Thank
It's been
you
a
so
pleasure,
much.
guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that, remember, I live with 2 dogs, so all of my jokes go to you. That's all I got, me and my 2 dogs. So, and they don't speak English, I'm pretty sure. So, we're close to 4th of July weekend, if you don't know that. I will see you I'll hear from you, Charmaine, on
yeah, you'll hear from me on Monday.
And do I see? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can one of the ladies send it to me because I don't know how to do the chat and I think I might have missed it. My name is Latoria. The stuff from the chat box. Because the circles, I'm clicking and nothing is happening.
Do you want to put your email in the chat box and maybe somebody will send it to you? Someone please email it to her.
Thank you.
Yeah, put your email in the chat box.
Yeah, I sure will. I'm doing it now.
But I get somebody to send it to because I can't get it to work either. I'll put my email in.
The video should be there by Monday. And my staff will put in.
Thank you, Dr. Pam.
My pleasure as always.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ngozi.
Please send to me.
Okay, babies.
I don't know why you're still there.
Because my everything is frozen. That's why. Hold on. I'm getting out.